It's time for Dixie State University Athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3 KXDS Santa Clara. DSU Athletics on Radio Dixie 91.3 is brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln, your neighborhood Ford dealer. We hear you.
Hello.
And now, it's time for DSU Athletics.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Martin Kelly. We apologize. We had some technical difficulties earlier, so we were not able to get the first part of the game broadcast. We did miss the first quarter, but we are here now. We're going to get this thing going as soon as we can. Bear with us.
Okay.
Right now, it is 14 minutes left in the second quarter. South Dakota Mines is up 20-13 over Dixie State. Dixie State will be taking the ball in just a couple minutes. There is an injured player on the field for South Dakota Mines. It looks like number 35, Connor Javany, is being taken off the field by the trainers as we speak.
Great job by Dixie State Trailblazers in the first quarter. They did pretty good by scoring 2 touchdowns, and they had a pretty good presence inside on their defense this evening. Right now, it's 20-13. South Dakota Mines is ahead. Let's see if Dixie State offense can bring it up.
Yeah, see that. Easton Smith lines up in a shotgun. CJ and Jonathan are in the backfield with him. He hands it off to Jonathan. Jonathan will get a hole and will get up the field and will be taken down at about the 20-yard line.
Great blocking up front. They opened up the A gap just so that, so Starks was able to go right through and get 7 yards on that play.
2nd and 4 coming up for the Trailblazers here as they are trailing 7 points, 20-13. Start of the second quarter. Easton takes the snap, hands it back off. He will hand it out to CJ. CJ will get out the middle on the sideline. He's going out the middle and will be pushed out of bounds at about the 32-yard line. A gain about 15 on the play.
That was a great sweep by CJ Luongo coming around that edge. Had nobody there, was wide open, and got a great 12-yard run.
He had a great game last time. He had over 160 yards on the ground last play. Let's see if he can keep that up this week. Easton Smith in the shotgun again, hands it out to CJ again. CJ's going to get around the corner. He's going to try to find a hole, and it will just be stopped right at the line of scrimmage on that great penetration by South Dakota Mines.
Man, that would have been a great play. Unfortunately, he was tackled by his own player, but they are doing a great job up front doing that block. They just need a little rougher blocking to open up those gaps for CJ.
Dixie State had a good game last time. They had a kind of a balanced offense last week. They ran the ball for over 200. They ran the ball for 200 yards. They had about 160 yards through the air on this second down. Easton Smith's got 3 wideouts. Hands the ball off, fakes it, and will run, and will just get back to about the line of scrimmage on that play. He slid, had nowhere to go on that play.
Great job by number 14, Easton Smith, by reading that play, being able to tuck the ball in and get a few yards. Let's see how they do on this next one.
3rd down and 9 for them. 3rd down and 9 for the Trailblazers as they enter in this. Easton Smith lines up in the shotgun again. Easton's been playing well in the last couple games, I'll give you that. Easton lines up in the shotgun, 4 wide receivers out. Motions Connor over. Takes the snap, is looking downfield. Is looking. He throws away, he'll just get rid of it. Ooh. Number 12, Devin Osborne, the 6'7", a.k.a. Megatron on the team, tried to get the ball, could not receive it. 4th down for the Dixie State Trailblazers.
Unfortunately, the pocket got penetrated too much by too many defenders, and he had to throw it off to try and get a pass off, but it hit the floor before number 12 was able to pick up the ball.
Dixie State lines up in the punt formation. 4th and 9, 11:42 left in the game. KJ gets it away, and it's a good punt. And it'll get out of bounds at about the 23-yard line in Hard Rockers territory.
One thing that the Trailblazers need to start doing right now is controlling that line of scrimmage. If we get that blocking up front, we're going to be able to open up some holes. We're going to be able to open up the run game and open up that passing game. You know, just as long as we keep up the good work up front and being able to control the line of scrimmage, we're going to have a good game tonight.
So far, so good. It looks okay for the Dixie State. South Dakota Mines is again leading 20-13 with about 11 minutes to go on this first down play. They line up in a shotgun. 3 wide receivers out to his left. Sullivan is looking at the line. Sullivan takes a snap, hands it off to Severia. Severia is going to try to get upfield, but nothing there. He'll just probably get back to the line of scrimmage or gain 1 yard on the play.
Great job by the defensive line for the Trailblazers. They plugged out that hole, denying that run, and stopping the ball at the line of scrimmage. Good job by Abraham Reinhardt by coming up and ending that play.
This defense of Dixie State's been playing well late. They played very well last week, being down in last week's game and came back to win that game. They were down 14 in the second half. Sullivan takes a snap, fakes it, throws it to his tight end, and it will be caught. And it'll be down at about the 43-yard line. Number 18 for them is Joe Lubers.
That quarterback on this play really had a lot of time. There wasn't much pressure given by the defensive line. There was no blitz. The coverage was too deep.
Quick play by Dixie, quick play by South Dakota Mines. They got the quick play right off. They hand it again back to number 18. Hand it right back out to Drew Lords on a little screen pass on that play.
South Dakota Mines are doing pretty good tonight, leading the game right now at 20-13. We have a pretty good defense going on.
They hand it off to Salveria. Salveria will just get met back at the backfield. We get met back at the line of scrimmage. Had nowhere to go on that play.
Great job again by the defensive line by plugging out those holes, leaving those holes open for the linebackers just to fill them, to stop that run game.
Excuse me, that was Kevin Thompson of South Dakota Mines, not Salveria. This defense played very well last week, Mackie, man. They didn't give up too much. They came back in that game 14 on extra points in the last quarter.
Of course, they did pretty good last week by helping us shut out the team in the second half.
South New Mexico Highlands. Sullivan looking downfield, throws it downfield, and it will be incomplete. He was covered by Darren Jones on the play.
That was a great job by the defense by getting that penetration, making the quarterback throw a deep pass as fast as he could. Wasn't really good ball, but great coverage by that corner by stopping that fade route. All in all, great play by the defense.
Good ball thrown by Sullivan. It's just Darren Jones was there and met him at the point of attack. 3rd down and 10 for the Miners. 3rd down and 10, for the Hard Rockers. They're on their own side. They're on the Dixie side of the field at the 46-yard line. Sullivan motions in. Throws downfield, and it'll be caught again. And he will get the first down on the play. And it looks like Joe, the tight end, again got the good play.
The defensive line was unable to penetrate on that pass. Left the quarterback with enough time to see who was wide open, and he threw it to his tight end, who ran a quick little screen route.
Seems to be an injured player on the field. Number 9 for Dixie State, Mike Jones, got back up, then went right back down to the field. Number 87 on that last play was Ian Murphy for South Dakota Mines, who got the reception for a gain of 12 yards.
Defense really needs to step it up in this series and deny that score by South Dakota Mines.
South Dakota Mines comes in a shotgun, 3 to his left. Sullivan looking downfield, looking, scrambles outside the pocket, still looking, throws it downfield, and it'll be caught. No! Dropped at the last minute. Ian Murphy had it, then let it go.
That was great penetration by the defensive line. They were right in there, almost got the sack. The quarterback stepped up and had nobody to throw to, and he tried to throw it to a receiver he thought was open, but overthrew the pass. Good job by Dixie State defense.
He had butterfingers on that one. It slipped right through his hands. Had basically a walk-in touchdown from that point on if he would just hang on to it. He was a little shaken up on the field as well. He went back to the sideline. Sullivan lines up in a shotgun. Motions over one. Looking downfield, will throw it, and it'll be overthrown. Was trying to connect with number 13, Isaiah Manley on the play.
Again, great job by the defense. Defensive line really needs to make that presence known today. Great job by the outside contain. They tried to do a quick pass, but were unable to complete it. Great job by the secondary by covering those receivers.
Elijah Isaiah on the coverage, the DB that came in from Mike Jones, who's still on the sidelines for Dixie State. Sullivan is in the shotgun, has 6 receivers. Empty backfield for him.
3rd and 10.
And a flag, false start on South Dakota Mines. Left tackle. Back him up 5 yards.
Let's see what the refs have to say on this play.
In there and just got Dixie State off their toes on that one. Let's see what happens on this play. Sullivan motions over another one. In the shotgun. Fakes the handoff, and it'll be picked off. It'll be picked off by Abraham Reinhardt.
No, picked off number 13, Trayvon Watson, and he's still going.
And he'll get down at about the 40-yard line.
Great interception by the defense. Great penetration by making that quarterback throw that bad pass. Good pickoff by Trayvon Watson, and he was able to see that and execute and run it all the way back to the 40-yard line to put us in some good field position for the Dixie State Trailblazer offense.
I don't think Sullivan even saw him. I think he just threw it up in there just thinking his wide receiver was going to get it, and he came out of nowhere and picked it off. Great stop by Dixie State. Great momentum changer. Let's see if the offense can capitalize on it.
Great job again by the defense. Hopefully our offense is able to pick up and take this momentum and get us a touchdown.
Eaton Smith lines up in the shotgun, 2 to his left. Takes the snap, hands it off. Hands it off to CJ. CJ gets up a hole. He'll get to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. 5. Touchdown, Trailblazers.
Great run by
CJ Luago.
Great job by that offensive line. They made that. They really washed down the defensive line, left nobody on the right side, and CJ Luago was able to do a little power to the right and ran it for about 60 yards to get that touchdown. Great job by the Trailblazers offense.
Just duked and dunked, dinking a little dink and dunk right there. Just juked out a couple players and just ran it all the way back. Great touchdown by the Trailblazers. It makes it 20-19, PAT pending. Let's see if KJ can put it through. He missed one earlier, and it is good. We have a tie ball game here in the second quarter. 8:19 left. We're going to take a 60-second timeout here. Be right back with more on the Trailblazer Network.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back. Dixie State got a 65-yard touchdown by CJ Luago on the last play. Great little run by the little man. He had a great game last week, and he's putting on another show today. What a great run right there, huh, Mackey?
Oh, of course. He was really good on reading those blocking schemes, and he was able to get that wide open run on the right. He did not hesitate to put on the boosters, and he ran all the way to the end zone for a Trailblazer touchdown.
South Dakota Mines will be taking over at the 30-yard line after that kickoff return. I got to say, coming into this game, I didn't think the Hard Rockers are going to be in this game. They're kind of in it late, huh, Mackey?
Yeah, it's very surprising when you see their stats. You really don't think that they're going to step up to be able to do great against Dixie State, but they're really putting on a show and giving Dixie State the run for their money.
Definitely giving them a run for their money in front of their crowd. Sullivan throws a little screen pass. And we'll get to just about the line of scrimmage. Nothing there. Dixie State read that play very well.
Great job by the defense. The secondary, the linebackers read that screenplay way too easy, and that man was met at the line of scrimmage by 4 red jerseys to stop him in his tracks.
Trayvon Watson on the tackle, the first one there. He was the dude with the interception that led to the Dixie State touchdown.
Yes, great job by the defense. Hopefully they keep it up to continue to give us a great game.
Sullivan hands it off to his running back, and he gets a hole, and he'll get more than that. He'll get met at about the 39-yard line.
That play was really poorly executed by the defensive line. They really didn't cause any penetration, and the offensive line was able to wash them up.
They'll hand it off again, and we'll get about coming up second down for them. Jake Cullen, excuse me. Connor Silveria on the run for South Dakota Mines on that play. Flag on the play. Let's see what this is called.
South Dakota Mines is really trying to establish a run game. They have really big men up front to try and make some good blocks to get some big holes for the running backs to go through. But I feel that the Dixie State Trailblazers defense can really plug up those holes. All they have to do is really make a strong presence on that line so that they don't have a run game.
Targeting is called on the play. It'll be first down. We're really not sure who they just threw out of the game, but let's take a look at this. They're calling it on number 2 of Dixie State, Shiloh Pritchard. Shiloh Pritchard was excited coming into this game. He thought he was going to have a good game today, and now this is going to change for the Dixie State defense. We'll see how they can do after that. Sullivan lines up with a shotgun. Fakes the handoff, is throwing downfield, and it is caught. It will be caught. It will be down at about the 10-yard line. What a throw there on that play.
Defensive secondary not happy. The corner claims that the receiver number 13 for the Rockers was holding his face mask while he caught the pass.
Number 13, Isaiah Manley for the Hard Rockers. A 40-yard pass down the field. And I got to say, I agree with you on that one. It does look like there was a little bit of holding on the play.
Unfortunately, we don't have replay and we can't call those plays. Well, right now, the defense just needs to step up in their territory. Right now, it's at the 15-yard line in Trailblazer territory. And the defense, moved to the 10-yard line in Trailblazer territory. Defensive line really needs to stop that run game so that they can't run it in. And that secondary really needs to cover those receivers tight and hope for a pick or just to stop them where they're at.
Let's see what happens. It's looking like it's second down. I guess it is a second down. I believe they ran a play before that. Sullivan hands it, fakes the handoff to his running back, throws it into the end zone, and it is caught for the touchdown.
Good job by South Dakota Mines by seeing that wide open receiver. That quarterback did a play-action play, and he had a receiver from the left side come over the top, and he had no coverage on him. The secondary bit on that play-action, thought it was a run, leaving a few wide receivers wide open and giving that touchdown for South Dakota Mines.
Joe Luber's on the play. It'll put South Dakota Mines up 6 at the moment with a PAT pending with about 7:10 left in the second quarter. Mackie, man, we got ourselves a shootout here, huh?
We definitely do. Right now the PAT was snapped, and the PAT is good. Last week, the Trailblazers did pretty well on doing the PAT and field goal protection. They had 2 blocks during the game, and both of them by Remington Kelly, number 92.
We got a flag on the play. Let's see what this is all about. Personal foul, roughing into the kicker on defense. That'll be on Dixie State, being forced on the kickoff. We're going to take a 30-second timeout here, and we'll be right back with more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
South Dakota Mines leading at 27-20, 7:10 left in the second quarter. Mackie, this game started to turn into a little good shootout, ain't it?
It definitely is. South Dakota Mines is not letting up, and they're doing the best that they can do to keep that lead to 27-20.
Aiden Smith lines up in the shotgun. Hands it off to CJ. CJ's going to get a hole and will get met up at about the 29-yard line. 2nd and 6 coming up for the Trailblazers.
CJ picked up about 2 yards down the middle. The defense for the South Dakota Mines really was able to plug up those gaps and didn't give much room for CJ to run.
Let's see if they can get this running game going. CJ had a great game last week. Told me he was going to try to get some more this week. Told me he's going to try to get more touchdowns as well. Let's see what he can do. Ian Smith lines up in the shotgun again. Motions over to Devon. Takes the snap, is looking downfield, and will throw it, and it is intercepted. It was intercepted by South Dakota Mines, and they're running it back. And it'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 6-yard line. Easton Smith's second interception on the day. Number 20 of the Hard Rockers is Dominic Jackson.
There's a flag on the play. Looks like there's going to be a late hit on the quarterback on delivering a hit on the interceptor. I think that's what you would call somebody who intercepts the ball. Let's see if that call stands. They return it to the 6-yard line in Trailblazer territory, giving the South Dakota Mines offense great opportunity to score.
It'll be on Dixie State.
Personal foul.
Personal foul call, making first and goal on the 1-yard line. Aiden Smith playing okay today. That's the second interception. He's really not known for throwing a lot of interceptions. He's a little bit more clean than that. Looks like this Hard Rockers defense giving him all he can handle today.
Correction, is number 83 with the personal foul for the Trailblazers. And that is Blake Kilgore. He hit the guy who intercepted the ball out of bounds.
First and goal for the Hard Rockers on the 5-yard line. Sullivan fakes the handoff, and it will throw it to his fullback, and it was dropped. Connor Silveri had a walk-in touchdown, and he dropped it.
South Dakota Mines had a wide-open running back who ran a little quick flat route, had nobody around him in about a 5-yard radius, and it just went straight through his hands. That man has some skillets.
Sullivan lines up with a shotgun again, has 2 to his right. 2 running backs in the backfield with him. Motions over 1 to his right. Takes it and will throw a fade, and it is incomplete, but flags are coming out.
That was definitely pass interference by number 8 for the Trailblazers.
Darren Jones, and it will look like it'll be first and goal on the 1-yard line for them.
The wide receiver tried to run a little quick 5-yard post route, but number 8 was holding that receiver to make him not be able to catch that ball. Repeated first down.
Not looking good for Dixie State so far. Darren Jones trying to get a little bit too much on the play. Don't blame him for that. Sullivan takes the snap and he'll hand it off to Severi, and he'll be met down at the about 1-yard line.
Great job by the defensive line. Right now, the ball is at the 2-yard line. Charlie Coca came in and penetrated that offensive line and was able to make that tackle right at the line of scrimmage. Oh, took the snap, and it was a South Dakota Mines running touchdown.
Connor Silveri on the touchdown. It'll put the Hard Rockers up 33-20 with 5:54 left to go in the second quarter here.
South Dakota Mines was able to wash the defensive line and linebackers to the right, leaving that left side wide open for number 6 to be able to score a South Dakota Mines touchdown.
Connor Silveria with the touchdown for the South Dakota Mine Hard Rockers.
Our defense really needs to pick up on these series and really needs to learn how to be able to stop that run game.
And they botched the field. Game. They botched the PAT, and it's thrown, and it will be taken down to the 20. A little scrambling around there. Botched the snap on the PAT. It will stay 33-20 with the Hard Rockers leading 33-20 with 5:54 left in the game. We're going to take a quick 60-second timeout here, and we'll be right back. More on Radio Dixie 91.3.
And the Ad Council.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back. Dixie State will be taking a ball, and there's a fumble on the kickoff. We'll see what happens with the fumble on the kickoff. It looks like South Dakota Mines recovered it. We'll see if they did or not. The refs are now saying it belongs to Dixie State.
Great heads-up play by number 82 by seeing that ball get popped out when the returner, number 6, got hit. That ball popped right out, and a South Dakota Mines defender almost picked up the ball, but 82 came in and swooped it up and was able to hop right on top of it. Great play. Let's see if the Offense will capitalize on their good field position and get us a Trailblazer touchdown.
We'll see if Ian Smith can take over. Try to see if he can put a good drive here. 1st and 10 on the 29-yard line. Takes the snap, hands it off to CJ. CJ's got a hole, and he'll be running up, and he'll get about 4 on the play here. Make it 2nd and 6 for Trailblazers.
CJ Luongo may be small, but he runs with a lot of power and really gets those yards. He's averaging about 4 yards every time he gets the ball. Great job by CJ Luongo. Right now we have Trent Darmson at quarterback, subbed in for Easton Smith. Let's see how this goes.
Ian Smith takes a snap. He's looking downfield, and it's going to throw it and overthrows his receiver, number 7, Isaiah Wooden on the play. Just threw him over a little bit, about a couple yards on that play.
Great job by the offensive line by giving Trent Darms a lot of time in that pocket. Unfortunately, the secondary for South Dakota was able to put a lot of coverage on that specific receiver for him to be unable to catch that ball.
Let's see what happens on 3rd and 7 for the Trailblazers. Looking downfield, and he'll throw it, and it is incomplete on the play again, trying to connect with Isaiah Wynn on the play. 4th down for the Trailblazers. They have no other option but to punt it.
Again, great job by the offensive line. They did really good in this series. No penetration at all. Trent Darms had a lot of time. Unfortunately, he threw the pass straight to the feet of number 7.
Isaiah Wooden.
DeJuan Dantzler on the offense.
Yeah, he's right. DeJuan Dantzler, and there is a flag flying out. False start on Dixie State. Back it up. Another 5. It'll make it 4th and 12 on the play.
These penalties are really killing Dixie State right now. If you know the snap count, you really shouldn't be jumping off sides. My personal opinion.
I don't disagree with you on that one. And we have more confusion here as the officials are trying to figure out where to mark the ball, or is the...
See what the ref has to say. Not sure what happened on that play.
Not sure at all either. Doesn't look like they're going to call anything. Looks like they're going to let the play go on. 4th and 12 for the Trailblazers as they punt it back to South Dakota Mines. Down 13 with 4 minutes left, with just a little bit over 4 minutes left to go in the 2nd quarter here.
Josh Carlton back to punt. Punts the ball.
And he botched it, and it was recovered by Dixie State.
Great job by number 23 by seeing that. Another good heads-up play by 23, Elijah Isaiah, DB. They punted the ball. The returner got hit by the ball, dropped it, and then 23, I keep forgetting his name. 23 Elijah came up, picked up the ball, and now it is inside South Dakota Mines territory at the 11-yard line.
Dixie State with great opportunity here. Let's see if they can capitalize it. Just slipped right through his hands, and then Dixie State recovered it. Great play by Dixie State on that one.
Let's hope that the Trailblazers offense comes in and executes this opportunity to get them a Trailblazer touchdown.
Trent Darns lines up in the shotgun again. Hey, will just hand it right off to CJ Luongo, and is met back in the backfield with loss of 3. Nowhere to go on that play.
Great job by South Dakota Mines defensive line that really pushed the whole offensive line back. As soon as Trent Darms handed the ball off to CJ Luongo, he was met by 3 different defenders and unable to get any yardage, and got a tackle for loss for 2 yards.
CJ's had a pretty good game today, but that one was just a little ugly on that play as Trent Darns lines up in the shotgun again. 4 receivers set. Throw a little screen pass. CJ's trying to get outside the numbers and will just be met up. He'll get back to the 20-yard line.
CJ Luongo on that play was really a relief route. He wasn't supposed to be the targeted receiver, but Trent Darns saw that all his receivers were covered, so he had to do that quick pass to CJ Luongo, and CJ Luongo was able to pick up a few yards for the Trailblazers to get us to 3rd and 11.
CJ just tried to do little moves on that play, try to get something, and just couldn't get anything on that play as Dixie State lines up again. Darnes looking downfield, will throw it, and it is caught, and it will be rushed out and be pushed out of bounds at about the 9-yard line. Number 88 of Dixie State, Giovanni Sanders, the freshman wide receiver.
Great job by Giovanni Sanders. He ran a little post route, caught the ball, and did a spin move to the outside, giving them being able to get an extra 5 yards on the play. Great job.
Great play by Dixie State. Let's see if they can take advantage of it. First and goal inside the 10. Darnes takes a hand. They'll just hand it off to Sage. Sage bounces up and it'll get to about the 4-yard line. Make it second and goal for Dixie State.
Great job by CJ Luongo by seeing that open gap. Great job again to the offensive line. They're really blowing up some holes so that CJ can get those yards. Exceptional play by the Trailblazers.
Second and goal for Dixie State. Let's see what they can do on this play and see if they can try to get within 7 of South Dakota Mines. And it looks like Dixie State will be taking a timeout here. South Dakota Mines will be taking a timeout here.
Great job by Dixie State by really being able to execute on that play. Right now, they're in the timeout, and hopefully they're talking about being able to open up that run hole for Seiji Luongo to just go right in and march in for a touchdown.
We're going to take a quick 15-second timeout here on Radio Dixie. We'll be back with more here on Radio Dixie and at 1.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back here on Radio Dixie 91.3. Let's see what Trent Darnes can do with the offense as he has 4 wide receivers set. 3 to his right. Darnes takes a snap, hands it off to Sage. Sage's up the middle and will score for a touchdown. Trailblazers.
Like I said before the break, they really analyzed their situation. They're able to execute an inside run play, easy up to open up some gap or some holes for CJ Luongo to just march right in for a Trailblazer touchdown.
Pending PAT will make it 33-27. 5 points only is the margin for South Dakota Mines now with 2:29 left on the clock. Let's see if Dixie State can get another chance and put some more points up on the board and see if they can get this game closer before going into the half.
PAT is good. The score is now South Dakota Mines ahead, 33, Dixie State 27.
South Dakota Mines defense looked a little weird on that last drive, but Dixie State's offense looked really good and got the points on that drive for them. Let's see what this can do for Dixie State going into halftime right here.
Great job by Sergio Luongo by running that touchdown. He has 2 touchdowns on the night, I believe. We missed the first quarter. Apologize for that again. But the Dixie State Trailblazers are really making a comeback right now.
We're going to take a quick 60-second timeout here. We'll be back more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's time for Dixie State University Athletics on Radio. It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back. South Dakota Mines still leads at 33-27 over Dixie State. Dixie State on that last drive got a good little lucky play on the punt return and got Dixie State within 5 of South Dakota Mines. The kick is off and it is received at the 10-yard line from South Dakota Mines. He'll try to get upfield and it'll be met at about the 17-yard line, the 27-yard line of South Dakota Mines, Hard Rockers Field. And this defense, Mackie Man, has got to step up just a little bit, try to give the ball back to Dixie State, and let's see if they can try to score another touchdown.
You are definitely right about that. The Dixie State defensive line really needs to be able to penetrate and plug up those holes on runs and penetrate the pocket on passes. And we need those linebackers to pick up on those holes that are wide open so that they don't get yards gained on the run.
Jake Sullivan lines up in the shotgun. Has two receivers to his right. Takes the snap, hands the ball off to his running back, and it'll just be met back at the line. Number 11 of South Dakota Mine, Kevin Thompson, the freshman running back out of Lakewood, Washington.
Great job on that defense. That replacement for Shiloh Pritchard, number 47, Malaki, came down and tackled him in the backfield with assistance from Remington Kelly.
Carlos Sullivan hands just right off to Silveria. Silveria's going to try to get anything, but he'll be met again. This Dixie State defense stepping up, trying to get the ball back to their offense and seeing if they can put some more points on before halftime. We got 1:43 left until then.
Great job by the defensive line by getting that hole plugged up, and then the linebackers coming up and cleaning up any kind of excess.
Dixie State not taking a timeout here to preserve time. They're just letting the clock run. Sullivan is fine with that one as he tries to lead South Dakota Mines on this 3rd and 9. Will take the snap, looking downfield, throws it off to his running back, and he will get the first down and more after that. Be pushed out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Hard Rockers.
South Dakota Mines ran a little screen route with the running back. Let all the defensive line come through and left a wide open left side field for number 6. Able to pick up about 15 yards on the play.
1st and 10 for the Hard Rockers. 1:13 left as Dixie State will take a quick timeout here. Mackie, on that last play, you were talking about it. Just looked like the defense got caught up on the line and just let Silveria run out onto the flat and just get whatever he wanted on that play.
Oh, definitely. The offense really were able to fake out the defense on that play. Made them think that was going to be a run, but they're wrong, unfortunately. And hopefully this time the defense will be able to analyze what they did wrong and pick up on these next plays coming up.
We'll see if they can do that as we look at the last play. And again, he just got outside the numbers and just picked up as many as he could and got out of bounds at about the 37, 36-yard line. It was a good little run play by South Dakota on that last play.
Definitely, and a great job by that receiver blocking. You know, he was wide open, but then with some few receiver blocks, he's able to get that extra 10 yards.
1st and 10 for South Dakota Mines. As they line up on the 37-yard line. Sullivan looking downfield, throws it, and it is caught. No, it was not caught, but flags are flying. It looks like there'll be pass interference on Darren Jones on that play.
Again, pass interference on number 8. Darren Jones, just like Martin said, you know, his back was at the quarterback and his hand was on the receiver, and he had no vision of where the ball was at. Unfortunately, they have pass interference, and hopefully the defense is able to assess what just happened.
Injured player for Dixie State on the field. And it was pretty blatant of pass interference on Mike Jones. Just had to do whatever he could to stop the receiver. Saying, you know, just trying to act a little foolish on that last play. Injured player on the field for Dixie State is Jordan Nichols, the senior linebacker out of Bakersfield, California for the Dixie State Trailblazers. He held off the field by the training staff.
Trailblazer defense. No, actually, number 42, Wes Moyati. Oh, it looks like he got a wrist injury.
That's going to hurt Dixie State on this play. Sullivan takes a snap. He's looking downfield and throw a little quick pass to his running back, and he'll get outside and he'll get more. He'll get as close as he can to the first down. 2nd and 2 coming up for South Dakota Mines as Connor Silveria was on the reception of that one.
Good job by South Dakota Mines by seeing Silveria wide open on that swing route. Threw it to him, and he was able to pick up 9 yards for the for the South Dakota Mines Hard Rockers.
Looks like another injured player on the field too. injured players look like is on the field for Dixie State.
We really hate seeing injured players on the field. No player wants to get hurt. They never want to be taken out of the game. The game is a great place to have some fun and release some awesome energy. Hopefully, these guys who are getting injured have a speedy recovery.
We'll see about it. We'll see if we can get a number. It looks like number 3, Reinhardt. And it is Abraham Reinhardt. We're going to take a quick 60-second timeout here. We'll be back with more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
Why are your pants on your head?
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3 as the training staff is working on Abraham Reinhardt on the sidelines. It looks like it'll be 3rd down and 1.
Abraham Reinhardt's really had a tough season this year. Got ejected the second game. Hopefully he's not injured.
Got ejected in back-to-back games on that one. Excuse me. He's 3rd and 1 on the 39-yard line for Jake Sullivan and the Hard Rockers. Hands it off to his running back. No, he fakes the handoff. Try to get outside the numbers and got the first down. Will be down at the 36-yard line, enough to pick up the first down on that play.
Great job by South Dakota Mines quarterback by reading that play. It was an option play, but that hole was plugged up for that running back he wouldn't have been able to run anything. But good job by that quarterback on the heads up by running that little swing.
Little swing pass on that one. Be 1st and 10 with 37 seconds left to go in the first half here for Jake Sullivan and the Hard Rockers. Takes the snap, looking downfield, throws it, and it is caught by his receiver. Will be knocked down at the point of attack.
Great job by the defensive line by making that penetration. It looked like there was a hand on the ball, and number 3 was able to catch it. For some reason, he stopped. He thought he heard a whistle, but the safety came up and blew him up.
Quinn Darks on the reception on the last play. Timeout is taken by South Dakota Mines. We are going to take a quick 30-second timeout here. We'll be right back with more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
A message from Feeding America.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3, the broadcast of South Dakota Mines versus Dixie State, as South Dakota Mines will take the field again. They're leading 33-27 with 31 seconds left to go in the first half here. Jake Sullivan leading the South Dakota Mine Hard Rockers to about the 36-yard line and is knocking on the door for another touchdown. Let's see what he can do. Lines up in an empty backfield. Takes a snap, is looking downfield, throws a little pass, but blocked down at the line of scrimmage by Malaki.
41, Anthony Yarborough. He's really stepping up. Anthony Yarborough, number 41, defensive line freshman. 6'3", he's really small, 215 pounds, but he comes off that edge really fast. He almost got the interception on that play, but everybody noticed that it was a screen route and didn't blow towards the quarterback. Was able to stop that play.
Didn't let get anything there. 2nd and 10 for the Hard Rockers. Sullivan lines up with 2 receivers to both sides. Is looking downfield, scrambling outside the pocket, and throws it, and it will be incomplete. Looked for a second. It was going to be intercepted by Darren Jones, but he was on the coverage on that play.
Again, great job by the defense. That defensive line really making a presence this series by penetrating that pocket, causing the quarterback to throw some wild passes. He threw the pass, and Darren Jones was right there. Almost got the interception, and if he wouldn't have got the interception, Trayvon Watson would.
Darren Jones on the day so far has had good coverage today. Let's see if he can keep it up. Sullivan lines up with a shotgun, 3 receivers to his right. Takes the snap, is a little scrambled outside the pocket, looking, throws it, and it will throw it to the sideline. It will be incomplete.
Great quarterback hurry by number 90, Charlie Coca. He was not touched by the offensive line. and caused a lot of pressure on that quarterback to force him to throw it out of bounds.
Let's see what Dixie State comes up with on this drive as Trent Darnes comes back out as a quarterback for Dixie State. 17.4 seconds are left on the clock. Dixie State down by 5 to go. Down by 5 before the end of the half.
17 seconds left in the half. The Dixie State's doing really well in the run game, but I'm pretty sure they're going to come out with the pass right now.
Let's see what they do on this play. Darnes lines up in the shotgun, 3 receivers to his right. Is looking downfield, will throw the ball, and it is caught by number 88 of Dixie State, and he'll get out of bounds at about the 46-yard line. Number 88, Giovanni Sanders, the freshman wide receiver. Good little play, quick play right there for Dixie State. Try to get into field goal range, or at least try to throw a Hail Mary at this point.
Sanders is doing a really great job by making plays after the catch. He caught this play and gave a stiff arm that you could feel from far away. He just stiff-armed him and got a few extra yards. Great job by Sanders.
Darnes takes a snap, is looking downfield, scrambles out of the pocket, and will just throw it out of bounds.
That was deep penetration by the South Dakota Mines defensive line. He got on the edge of our right tackle and almost got the sack, but great job by Trent Darnes by not allowing that to happen. He only had the option to throw it out of bounds.
Injured player on the field for South Dakota Mines. You never like to see injuries on the field. It's number 49, Conte Christian, the freshman D-line out of Aurora, Colorado.
Yeah, you're definitely right with about seeing injured players. It is really rough to see that.
5 seconds left in the first half here for Dixie State. At this point, they just might as well try for a Hail Mary, see what they can get on the play. Not enough time to run a play and then try to get a field goal on the field. Darnes lines up in the shotgun on that one. 3 receivers to his right. Takes a snap and is looking downfield. Steps inside the pocket and will just run. And we'll get to about the 47-yard line, 48-yard line. That's just going to end the half here. So far in this game, South Dakota Mines is on top, 33-27. We'll be right back with more of the Trailblazer halftime show here on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome to the Dixie State Trailblazer halftime show here on Radio Dixie 91.3. I am your host, Martin Kelly, and I got my man, Makino Manu, here in the studio with me, a.k.a. Mackie, joining me on the broadcast today. So far, let's look ahead of today's game so far. South Dakota Mines is leading 33-27 so far. Total numbers so far stand for Dixie State. They have 130 yards through the rush and 215 yards through the pass. South Dakota Mines has about 145 through the rush and about 223 on the pass so far. Let me bring in my man Makino Manu here. Mackie, so far, if you look at these numbers, it doesn't look good for South Dakota. It doesn't look good for Dixie State, does it?
Right now, it's really not looking good for Dixie State. Dixie State, they're down by 5 points, but Dixie State probably didn't expect the South Dakota Mines to come in like this at all. They definitely thought that this was going to probably be a game that they were just easily able to just walk through and get a quick W, but South Dakota Mines is not letting them. South Dakota Mines, they are leading the game right now in the rushing game, which Dixie State is usually known for. Luongo, by himself, had about a 100-plus yards last week.
He had about 160 yards last week, and right now he has 83 yards on the run and 2 touchdowns in the game so far.
Luongo's doing really well tonight, and he does an exceptional job at the running back position. He's averaging 7.7 yards a carry, and we just really need that presence. Like I said in the beginning, we need that presence up front on both sides of the ball, offensive line, defensive line. They really need to control the line of scrimmage, because my philosophy is if you control the line of scrimmage, you control the game.
That I agree with you. Let's look at the South Dakota Mines side of the ball. They look like they're controlling this game so far, but Dixie State isn't going away. But what is South Dakota Mines doing so well on the offense side of the ball?
They're really doing well on their passing game. They're really good. They're going for those deep passes, and most of their deep passes are being completed. And with their deep passes being completed, that gives them that opportunity to be in the red zone, and they're able to just rush it in or just do those little quick passes. Their passing game is pretty on point today. We just need our defensive line to cause more pressure and cause more havoc in the backfield so that the quarterback doesn't feel comfortable. If we make that South Dakota Mines quarterback feel uncomfortable, he won't be completing as many passes as he is tonight.
Jake Sullivan, the South Dakota Mines quarterback so far, is 16 of 30 with 1 INT with 2 touchdowns. You look at his receivers, Isaiah Manley has 3 receptions, 100 yards, but no touchdowns. And their running game so far is doing good, with Kevin Thompson being the sole leader, has 6 attempts, 76 yards, and 1 touchdown. It looks like they're mostly getting their stuff on the ground, which is really hurting Dixie State. They're really known for their really tough defensive line. Mackie, what changes can they make to try to get back in this game?
Again, they just need to play assignment football. The defensive line needs to play what they have to do. They have to plug up their gaps, keep the other gaps open for the linebackers to fill on runs. That way that they don't have that rushing game. And when they realize it's a pass, they need to really be able to cause more pressure in that pocket, because James Sullivan is just back there. He has a lot of time, and he is not feeling uncomfortable at all.
We are going to take a 60-second timeout here. When we come back, we're going to give you live updates on the RMAC and what the conference looks like right now.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to the halftime show here on Radio Dixie 91.3. We're going to give you a couple live updates so far in the RMAC today. Fort Lewis beat Black Hills State, taking Fort Lewis to 1-3 on the record. Black Hills State falls to 0-4 on the year. Crazy game today in Nebraska. Chadron State wins over Colorado Mesa, taking Colorado Mesa to 3-1 on the year. It turns Chadron State to 3-1 on their year so far. Colorado School of Mines and New Mexico Highlands battled in New Mexico today, while Colorado School of Mines came on top 43-14, taking Colorado School of Mines 4-0 on the year, 2-2 for New Mexico Highlands. And Adams State played Western Colorado University today. Adams State getting their second win on the year, 52-55, a shootout in that game. Mackie, when you're looking at it so far, other games, we got another game going on, Colorado State Pueblo and Texas A&M Commerce. When you look at the scores so far, some teams look a little interesting. Some teams look like they're starting to fall off in a little bit.
Yeah, you really can't tell what's going to happen while the season continues, because with Chadron State getting that win over Colorado Mesa really makes you question, how good are these teams? You can't really tell before, and it's like today. The Trailblazers everybody thought that they're just going to walk over South Dakota Mines. And, of course, it's only been the first half. So Trailblazers might step it up the second half and just come out a different team this half and just show us what we were expecting in the beginning of the game.
So far, the standings as they stand right now, and I'm not kidding about this, Colorado School of Mines, RMAC is 4-0. Chadron State is 3-1. They sit as second in the conference. Overall record in RMAC play is 3-1, gives them the leverage in the game. Colorado Mesa and CSU Pueblo sit at 4-5. If Dixie State can pull out a win tonight, it will stay at 5 in that power rankings. Adams State is ranked 6th with a 2-2 overall record in RMAC play. New Mexico Highlands follows behind them with a 2-2 record. South Dakota Mines, if they win tonight, will go 2-1 in RMAC play, followed by Fort Lewis, Western, and Black Hills State at the bottom of the conference. Mackie, when you see those conference standings, the one team that stands out of them is Chadron State. Not really known for being a great powerhouse team, especially not in the RMAC. It's mainly dominated by the Colorado Schools teams. Is it refreshing to see another team up there in the top 5?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. It shows that those coaches at that school really took it seriously and on their recruiting class last year by bringing in good athletes. And really being able to come together as a team and play a great season so far. They've had 4 games on the season. They're 3-1, and that is way different to see them. We were expecting to see Colorado Mesa and Colorado State Pueblo in the top 2, but right now it's Colorado Mines and Chadron State. It's pretty impressive by what they're doing out there, and hopefully Dixie State can step up and keep winning on the season.
Let's give you a little scores around the Big Ten, the big top college football teams right now as we see it. Some scores from today. A little surprise here, but a great game if you want to turn to it right now or listen to it. Oklahoma and Army. Yes, I said Oklahoma and Army are tied with 14 seconds left to go in the fourth. Oklahoma is driving. They're in their 15, trying to get a quick field goal and end the game. So far, we'll see. We'll keep you live. We'll see what happens with that game going down the road. So far, other scores: number 1 ranked Alabama Roll Tide over Texas A&M, 45-23. Number 2 Georgia stays perfect after beating up Missouri, 43-29. Number 8 ranked Notre Dame goes into Wake Forest and beats them up, 56-27. And Old Dominion beats Virginia Tech. A little upset today. Old Dominion coming into the game 0-3. They'll get their first win of the season over 13-ranked Virginia Tech. We'll see how that affects the polls. Also on upset, Texas gets one of their good wins of the year. 1-0, starting 1-0 in the Big 12. They win over 17th-ranked TCU. We're going to take a 2-minute timeout here. We will be back with more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
Hi, this is Terry Crews, actor, former football player, game show host, father of 5, and all-around big dude. I'm also an expert on drama. I know all kinds of drama. There's the good kind that comes with having a house full of kids. There's the bad kind like season-ending injuries. There's the necessary kind like having an agent in Hollywood. And there's silly drama like the drama around my percolating pectorals. And then there's the drama you can skip.
Skip the drama that comes with not having your high school diploma or equivalency. Find free adult education classes near you and finish your high school diploma. Visit finishyourdiploma.org.
Or text diploma to 97779. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out. That's diploma to 97779. And leave the drama to actors like me.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Dixie State. Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3 as we look at a couple highlights from the game.
They have a presence on their defense. Their secondary is really locking down our receivers, not giving them the opportunity to run those deep routes and be open on those deep routes. So they're cutting us down and making us have to throw those short passes, and the short passes can only be effective for so long. And their defense is doing really well, and their offense is capitalizing on what their defense is causing against the Dixie State Trailblazers.
Well, let's see if Dixie State can do anything different going into the second half here on Radio Dixie in this game between South Dakota Mines and Dixie State. Excuse me. Again, we apologize for the inconvenience earlier. We were trying to get a coverage of the game. We had some technical difficulties. We apologize about that, but we're going to have full complete coverage of the game throughout tonight with us here on Radio Dixie 91.3. Martin Kelly and Makino Manu, a.k.a. Mackie, in the studio tonight. We're going to take a couple minute timeouts here, and then we'll be right back with the live second half here on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3 as we're just about to get the second half started. We've got about 30 seconds until the second half starts. Both teams are lined up for the kickoff. Quick little seconds here, Mackie. Again, we kind of emphasized it again. We're trying to re-emphasize it as much as we can. What can Dixie State do to get back into this game and try to get more control over it?
control the line of scrimmage. Offensive line do exceptional blocking. Defensive line cause ruckus in the backfield. And that way, we have control of the game.
Let's see if Dixie State can do that and try to get control of this game and put some points on the board on this first drive here. We'll see who comes in at quarterback. Will it be Easton Smith or Trent Darns? It has been a back-and-forth battle between both quarterbacks this season so far, and the fact that you're still trying to figure out who your starting quarterback is going into game number 4, it's got to be a little concerning, don't you think?
It could be concerning or a good thing. Maybe they're both good at quarterback, and so they want to split it, like how Alabama has 2 good quarterbacks, or they just don't know who is the best fit yet. Either or.
We'll see about that as South Dakota Mine kicks it off to Dixie State right now. It is recovered at the 3-yard line and will come out, and he got a little hole, and then he got tripped up. It looked like Aaron Simpson on the coverage there for Dixie State, and a little roughhousing after the play.
Isaiah Wooden with the reception, or with the kick return, ran it back to about the 18-yard line in Trailblazer territory.
A little scuffle at the end of the play between Simpson and another South Dakota Mines player. You try not to get into this chippiness. It almost cost Dixie State a game last week. The game before that in Fort Lewis, they had 12 penalties for 200 yards. And last week they had about 10 penalties for about almost 150 yards. So let's see if we can clean that up. Trent Darns is the starting quarterback for Dixie State. He lines up in a shotgun with 2 receivers to his left. Takes a snap on 1st and 10. We'll hand it off to CJ. We'll try to get outside the numbers. And CJ gets up a hole and gets outside to the numbers and gets more and will get out of bounds at the 35-yard line. A gain of 15 on the play. We'll set up 1st and 10 for Dixie State.
Great job by Dixie State Trailblazers by doing a trap play to the outside for that sweep for CJ Luongo. He was able to read that block, and he got a 15-yard carry.
Trent Darns is again the quarterback for Dixie State. He lines up in the shotgun, 2 receivers to his right. Takes the snap, hands the ball off to CJ again. CJ gets another hole and will get about 5 yards on the play. Good little tough run right there. Will make it 2nd and 5 for Dixie State.
Again, great job by Dixie State. It looks like in the locker room they really analyzed what they were doing best, which was the running game, and they executed the first 2 plays with about 20 yards.
Gain of 20 yards so far for Dixie State, and it's looking good so far as Darns motions over to Cooks to the right. South Dakota Mines showing pressure as Darns runs outside the pocket. He'll just keep it. He'll get down to about the 45-yard line. A gain of 5 on the play, and was good enough for a 1st down. Dixie State.
That play, the Trailblazers tried to do a little play action, but Trent Darms got penetration in the pocket and had to tuck the ball in and run to the outside.
So far it's looking good as CJ takes the first snap on this play. He'll gain about 4 on that play, making it 2nd and 6 for Dixie State.
There really wasn't much room for CJ to run in that play, but he jackhammered right in there and gave himself 3 yards in that hole that was clearly had a lot of people in it.
We'll see if they stick to the run as Darns lines up in the shotgun again. 2 receivers to both sides. Darns looking downfield, trying to throw the football, and it'll be taken down. And it's incomplete pass or is a sack. No, they'll say it was a sack. Make it 3rd down on the play. 3rd down and about 9.
The offensive guard was beat on that play. He wasn't able to hold his man. And actually, he came from the opposite side. The defensive end on the right side of the ball came back and sacked Trent Darns.
3rd and 7 for Dixie State. Trent Darns has looked okay in games. He had an injury in the first game, which kind of limited him into the first game against Pueblo. They thought him coming into the start of training camp, he was going to be the backup, but injuries on this team forced him to be the starter on this 3rd and 7 as he takes a snap out of the shotgun. Looking downfield, and will be taken down again. He'll be sacked back at the 37-yard line of loss of 7 on the play for Dixie State.
And that was number 58, Andrew Karatapayan from South Dakota Mines. He just came off that edge. He's the defensive end and beat the right tackle off that edge and came right behind and got that sack.
4th and 11 for Dixie State. They'll have to punt the ball on their own 37-yard line. Ball is away, and it is a good punt. And South Dakota Mines will have the ball at about the 7-yard line. A good punt there by the Dixie State punt team.
Yes, great job by Carlson by getting that punt all the way into the South Dakota Mines territory at about the 7-yard line. Right now, we really need the defense to step up. This is their first series of the half. Let's hope that their defense is able to control that line, and let's see if our secondary can cover those receivers better this half.
Let's see if Jake Sullivan can lead the South Dakota Mines to another touchdown and put more up on the board. They tried to get a couple touchdowns late in the second quarter, and it did not go their way. Turnovers and punts forced them to not get any points on the board as Sullivan takes the ball, hands it off to his running back, and he'll be met at the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
Right there. No way for him to get out of there. Number 11 for them, Kevin Thompson, the leading rusher for them so far, was met right at the line of scrimmage on that play.
Again, number 41, Anthony Yarbrough, coming off that edge really fast and hitting that running back behind the line of scrimmage and pulling him back a few yards to the 1-yard line.
Let's see what South Dakota Mines does on this 2nd and 12 after a loss of 2 on the previous play. Jake Sullivan lines up in a shotgun, 2 receivers in the backfield with him. Fakes a handoff to one of his running backs, looking downfield, throws it, and it is caught by the reception. Kevin Thompson on the receiving play will be out of bounds at about the 24-yard line.
Again, number 7. Jake Sullivan seeing that wide open, pretty deep pass, and 11 was wide open. Again, our coverage needs to really step up on this.
Jake Sullivan takes a quick snap, throws it downfield, and it is caught by a receiver, and it'll be pushed out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. Quick little pass right there. It was caught by Isaiah Manley for South Dakota Mines. South Dakota Mines trying to get into a really quicker huddle here and try to get Dixie State off their defense.
Great job by South Dakota Mines. They're really playing sound football right now.
Jake Sullivan lines up in the shotgun, motions over a running back, and hands it off to his running back. Thompson got a hole. He's leaning all the way, and he fumbles the football. Who was it recovered by? He fumbled the football at about the 40-yard line. We are waiting for a call. And it's recovered by South Dakota Mines.
Man, great job by the defense by being able to cause that fumble, but poor job by the defensive line by getting blocked by every single lineman and causing that big, huge gap for number 11. Let's see who number 11 is. Number 11, Kevin Thompson, senior running back, to get such a big gain on that rush.
Just wish Dixie State would have jumped on that ball late, as we have an injured player on the field right now for Dixie State. We'll take a quick 30-second timeout and step away. We'll have more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3 as Mike Jones has helped off the field yet again in this game. It looks like it is his leg. They'll look at him on the sidelines. Right now, Jake Sullivan is lined up in a shotgun, 3 receivers to his right. South Dakota Mines really doing whatever they want on this drive against Dixie State defense. Let's see what they can do. Sullivan botches the snap, trying to get outside the pocket, throwing it, and he'll just kneel it at about the 31-yard line. Just got down on the field after he botched the snap on that play. It'll become 2nd and about 15 on the play for South Dakota Mines.
Great job by the defense by executing on that play. They saw that he dropped the snap, and he tried to run, and he was met by both defensive ends and caused him to slide.
2nd and 16 for South Dakota Mines. Sullivan lines up in a shotgun, 3 receivers to his left. Sullivan takes the snap, throws a little quick play to his running back, and he'll get out to the numbers, and he'll get to about the first down, to about the 26-yard line on that play. A gain of 14 on the play for South Dakota Mines that they get in the quick huddle here.
This game, South Dakota Mines are really running some deadly screens. The defensive line is really biting hard, and they're trying to attack the quarterback, but then leaves that running back wide open right behind him.
And they try that play again, and he bounced out of the tackle.
Ooh.
Number 13 for South Dakota Mines, Isaiah Manley. He was met in the backfield for a loss and then got outside the tackle and just went and ran for the first down. Was met as soon as he had at the point of attack and just escaped it.
It was definitely a big hit on him, but there was no wrapping up, so he was able to run wherever he wanted to go.
First down and 10 for the South Dakota Mines. Sullivan takes a snap, throwing it into the end zone, and it was batted down. Incomplete pass.
Again, Trayvon Watson, the safety, right over the top, patted that ball. He tipped it, almost had that interception again.
South Dakota Mines doing a lot of action plays and quick screens on this Dixie State defense, but they're trying to, again, have this bend, no break type defense. They've had it all year so far. Let's see if this bend, no break defense can still stand. It'll be 3rd and 8 for South Dakota Mines with about 9:18 left to go in the third quarter here. Sullivan takes a snap. Looking downfield, had a little play action, throws it, and it is caught, but he'll be met at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Connor Silveria met at the point of attack on that one.
Great job again on that play by the defense. Defensive end, number 92, Remington Kelly, put pressure on that quarterback. Quarterback had to throw it to a guy that wasn't intended to be the receiver. And when he threw it to him, the receiver was at the line of scrimmage and was immediately met by number 8 of the Dixie State defense.
Darren Jones on the play.
Darren Jones.
Looks like there's going to be a repeat of down for South Dakota Mines. We're not really sure what happened on the play. Let's see what we can look at. But really, Jake Sullivan was trying to run outside the pocket and just threw it in there, and Silveria was met right at the point of attack. A good tackle right there. Really not sure what the penalty is about. But it looks like it's going to be 4th and 5 as South Dakota Mines sends out their kicking unit to attempt about a 37, 39-yard field goal here.
Let's see if Remington Kelly can, again, come with the blocked field goal. Last week, he blocked 2 PATs.
Kick is up, and it is good. It'll put South Dakota Mines 36-27 on top. About 8:33 left in the game here. Good little kick right there by South Dakota Mines to get it through the uprights.
Yeah, our offense, the Trailblazer offense, I hope really steps up right now during this series. They need to make their presence known. Right now we're down 36-27 with 8 minutes and 38 seconds left in the third quarter. But we really, really need our offense to step up. I think we really need to stick to our run game because that's our most effective game, that we have. That's our effective style.
We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout here and be back with more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back as South Dakota Mines kicks it off to Dixie State and is recovered at the 3-yard line. Simpson trying to find cut lanes, and it will just run it out to about the 23-yard line on that play. Be 1st and 10 at the 23-yard line for Dixie State.
23, Elijah Isaiah was on the play. He caught the kick and ran it back to the 21-yard line, but it seems like he got injured on the play.
He seems like he's really, really hurt. It isn't just a little ticky-tack one. It seems like he's really hurt on the play. We'll take a step away. We'll take a step away here. 30-second timeout here, and we'll see what happens here on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3 as we still have injured player on the field. As it stands right now, I believe it was number 23, Elijah Isaiah, the freshman DB, he was the return man on the last play. It seems like he's able to walk off the field. It looks like it's his leg. We'll see what's up with that, and we'll see if we can get an update on that one later. But Dixie State cannot afford any more injuries. They're getting banged up everywhere on the defensive side of the ball, and you lost Pritchard to a targeting play here. So it looks like it's going to start getting a little limbed for Dixie State's defense. Definitely.
We lost defensive tackle Wes Mayai, Shiloh Pritchard, and now Elijah Isaiah. That's 3 starters down. Hopefully we can come back with some good returners. 1st and 10 as Darnes takes the snap, hands it off to CJ. CJ will get up the hole and will just get about 2 yard lines. We'll get to about the 30-yard line. It will be 2nd and 8 for Dixie State on that one. South Dakota Mines defense really penetrated on that play. They plugged up the gaps, didn't really give much room for Luongo to be able to run through. Trent Darnes will take a 2nd and 8. He's got 2 receivers to his right. We'll motion out to that way. We'll scramble outside the pocket, and we'll throw it, and it is incomplete, way over the head of his intended target there. It'll be 3rd and 8 for Dixie State. Trent Darnes is definitely getting enough time to throw a pass, but it doesn't seem like the receivers are really getting themselves open. The secondary is doing really well for the South Dakota Mines by covering those receivers. Hopefully we can pick up, get something that goes really well for us. 3rd and 8 for Dixie State. Darnes has 3 receivers to his right. Will take the snap, is looking downfield, and is just met and sacked back at the line of scrimmage. Nothing there for Dixie State. The line got collapsed, and Darnes was in so much trouble he tried to escape the pocket on that one. Yes, you're right on that one. The pocket was definitely collapsed. The edge rushers came free. They almost were untouched, but they came in and they got that sack on Darnes. He had to tuck it in and try to go as far as possible. But unfortunately, he was able to get to the line of scrimmage and not lose any yards. 4th and 8. It'll be a punt yet again for Dixie State, and it is a great punt. And he'll be tackled at about the 37-yard lines of South Dakota Mines, where they will take over. Jake Sullivan tries to lead South Dakota Mines to yet put more points on the board. Right now we have the defense coming up, and with the loss of some defensive players, let's see how our defense is able to pick up and be able to just do better in this series. Let's see what South Dakota Mines is trying to do on this play here, as they try to put more points on the board, as they are up 36-27 with 7:27 left in the 3rd quarter as it stands so far. Sullivan takes a snap on this play. Throws a little quick screen pass and is incomplete. Intended target on the play was number 3. Quinn Starks, the freshman wide receiver, the 5'11 receiver on team. A little quick screenplay right there, but it did not work for South Dakota Mines. Quinn Starks is really doing well in those quick little screens for a receiver. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make that catch. Good job. Good thing for us. Sullivan takes a snap, throws it quick field, and it is caught, but it'll be snapped down at about the 46-yard line. Make it 3rd down at about 7 for South Dakota Mines. We really need more pressure up front. We have our backups in, and they haven't really played much in the game, but, they're doing an okay job, but we really need them to step up and not allow any kind of yards, passing or rushing. It'll be 3rd down for this South Dakota Mines offense as Sullivan takes the snap. Looking downfield, scrambles outside the pocket, and will get the 1st down and slides at about close as he can to the 1st down. Let's see what the marker. Let's see what they say on the marker. That play, that quarterback just really read it well. He had no room to throw, so he tucked the ball in and ran as far as he could. And it was pretty effective, and they're going for it. 4th and 2 for South Dakota Mines as they take it, and he fumbled the football.
and it was recovered by Dixie State. Mike Jones.
Woo!
Mike Jones coming back in the game forced Jake Sullivan to drop the ball as he's trying to run outside the pocket, and Dixie State comes up with yet another lucky play on defense. Let's see if this Dixie State offense can take advantage.
Great job by Mike Jones, and I'm not sure who was with them, but they popped the ball out and were able to scoop and get a few yards. Oh, actually, no. It was the quarterback. He fumbled the ball. He didn't have a good, secure grip on it, dropped it, and Mike Jones picked it up off the floor and ran as far as he could. Great job by the Dixie State Trailblazers defense.
Number 50, Via Saeo on the defense for Dixie State was also in that play. Helped Mike Jones force Jake Sullivan to drop the ball. Let's see what Dixie State offense can do as Darnes comes out of the shotgun. Darnes looking downfield and will be sacked back at the line of scrimmage. Nothing there for South Dakota Mines.
Again, we're getting a lot of pressure on these plays, and the plays are still pass plays. Right now, we're inside South Dakota Mines territory, and one thing that I feel is very effective in this game is our run game with CJ Luongo and Starks. You know, our offensive line is better at run blocking, and their pass blocking is not as good.
Let's see what they can do. 2nd and 15, about 6 minutes left to go in the third quarter here. As Darnes looks downfield, trying to throw it, and it will complete it to Connor Smith. And Connor Smith will get to about the 19-yard line. It looks like a gain of about 11 on the play.
Great job by Trent Darnes. You know, he had that. The edge rushers really came in, and he couldn't sit back in the pocket, so he had to step up. And when he stepped up, he was able to see 18, Connor Smith, wide open. And he caught the ball and ran it to the 19-yard line in South Dakota Mines territory.
A big third down here for this Dixie State offense. Let's see what Darnes can do. Does he hand it off? He does hand it off to CJ. No, he takes the snap, and he gets to about the 14-yard line. Darnes kept the snap on that one. Fooled me. I thought he gave it up to CJ and just ran it upfield.
Great option play by Trent Darnes. He really fooled both of us here in the studio. He looked like he handed the ball off to CJ, but he didn't. And he tucked the ball, ran to the right side, and was able to get that first down and got us to the 11-yard line in South Dakota Mines territory.
Big third down there for Dixie State as Darnes is going to try to escape the pocket again. It looked like a design run, but it did not go well for them. He looked like he gained about a yard or two on the play. Maybe got back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to run a quarterback draw, but they didn't draw anybody to the other side of the field. And so, therefore, he didn't have much room to get much yardage, but he did get 2 yards, so that's good.
Let's see what they can do on the 2nd down and 8 for Dixie State. Darnes lines up in the shotgun again, motions over receiver. He's looking downfield, looking, and throws it, and it'll be incomplete as the pressure got in his face as he was trying to throw that football.
You know, he had Connor Smith wide open right next to the end zone. Unfortunately, number 38 coming in hard off the edge, 38 for South Dakota Mines. His name is Thomas Chapman, freshman defensive lineman. Came off that edge and was able to just, interrupt that pass by Trent Darnes.
Let's see what they can do on another big third down here for Dixie State's offense. Darnes looking to the sideline for the calls. Motions over CJ and offense. Dixie State will take a timeout. They looked really confused on that last play. We're going to take a quick 15-second timeout here. We'll be back with this play on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back as we get ready for a big third down late in this game. Looking back at that last play, Trent Darnes really had no time as he was trying to scramble outside the pocket and find somebody. He really did not have any time on that last play as we get set here for this third down and 8. Darnes looks to the sideline again for signal calls. CJ motions over to the other side of the field. Darnes takes a snap, looking downfield, throws it, and it is caught. It was caught, and he is down at the 2, number 7 for this team.
DeJuan Donsler with that catch. Great job by Trent Darms. He saw that little quick inside post route. Or no, 5-yard in route, actually. And DeJuan Donsler really executed that route really well. Got himself wide open and got us to 4th and 1, and we're going for it.
4th and 1, a big 4th and 1 here for Dixie State. Let's see if they can convert it or not. As they hand it off to, no, here's a fake. And Darns is going to walk in for a Trailblazer touchdown.
Again, they tricked everybody on that play. Again, they did a read option. He looked like he handed it off to CJ, and everybody on the defense bid on that play and led it to a walk into the Trailblazer end zone for a Trailblazer touchdown by Trent Darms. Great rushing touchdown.
Second rushing touchdown for Trent Darms this season. He had one rushing touchdown in the Fort Lewis game. As he started that game, was taken out for Ian Smith on that one. PAT pending, and it is good. And it now stands as South Dakota Mines leads 36-34 with 3:34 left in this game. Again, we look at the last play. He had me fooled as I was calling it to say I thought CJ had that ball, but Darns just took a walk-in touchdown to get within 2 of South Dakota Mines here late in the third quarter.
Yes, great job by the Trailblazers offense. They're really starting to realize what works for their offense. They're doing pretty well. They know that the short passes are effective. They know that their run game is very good. And they have good blocking schemes for the run. And so they just need to execute that, and they'll be good.
We're going to take a quick 60-second timeout here. We'll be back more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
A public service announcement brought to you.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back here on Radio Dixie 91.3 as Dixie State kicks it off to South Dakota Mines, and it will fly out of bounds for Dixie State's kicking team, and the ball will be placed on, I believe, the 35-yard line.
Real quick, I'd like to make an announcement that today the Trailblazers football team are playing to bring awareness to Alzheimer's disease.
That is a good cause right there. Again, the game is for Alzheimer's awareness, as it is a tragic thing. Let's see what Jake Sullivan and South Dakota Mines can do, as that last drive was tragic for them, as Dixie State got a fumble recover on the last play when they were trying to go for it on 4th and 2. Jake Sullivan just fumbled the football, and it led to a Dixie State touchdown.
The Dixie State Trailblazers defense really needs to pick it up in this series. They need to be able to penetrate the passing lanes, and they need to be able to get another turnover.
Jake Sullivan looking, and will take the snap. Fakes handoff, and it is incomplete on that one. Intended target for that one was number 81. Ian Anderson, the junior wideout from Chandler, Arizona, 6'2", 160 pounds. A real skinny guy, but this guy has got some athletics and speed on him. We'll see about that as they hand it off to Connor Silveria, and a gain of 15 on the play. He'll get South Dakota Mines a first down on that one after an incomplete pass by Jake Sullivan.
That play, South Dakota Mines offensive line really opened up that gap for Silverio just to run right through. He got a gain of 15 because of the lack of pressure by the defensive line.
1st and 10 for South Dakota Mines. Sullivan takes a snap, is looking downfield, throws it, and it is incomplete. It looked like it was intercepted for a second there, but then it went to the receiver, and then he dropped it on that play. Number 3 for South Dakota Mines.
Right now, South Dakota Mines, they're actually doing really well on their offensive passing scheme. The offensive line is giving him more than 5 seconds in that pocket to get a pass off. He's getting the passes off. Unfortunately, his receivers are not catching it.
Quinn Starks was the receiver on that play, intended receiver on that play, as they'll hand it off to Connor again, and will get nowhere. Kevin Thompson, he was the running back on that play and got nothing, and was just met back at the line of scrimmage, and actually a loss of yards, make it 3rd down 11. Mike Jones, first one to the ball on that play.
Great job by defensive player number 33, Tane Tuifua. He came in on that play and did well.
Sullivan takes the snap, fakes the handoff, and is thrown in, and it was overintended for his receiver on that play, number 18 of South Dakota Mines.
Again,
Joe Lubers, the reception, the wide receiver who had the touchdown earlier in the game.
Again, South Dakota Mines offensive line really doing well by giving that time for the quarterback to be able to even get a pass off.
South Dakota Mines looking a little stalled so far in this second half as they're all over the place in the first half and firepower. Now it is looking a little lost as the punt team kicks it and it'll be down at about the 11-yard line. Excuse me, I thought there was a fake on the play, and then I realized it was just a regular punt.
That was a pretty decent punt by South Dakota Mines. They're able to punt it to the 11-yard line in the Trailblazer territory. Right now we have 89 yards to go, and let's make these some 89 yards of amazingness.
Let's see if Dixie State can do that as they're down by 2. First down and 10 with 2:32 left to go in the fourth quarter here. Let's see what Darnes can do. Is he going to create some magic on this drive and give Dixie State the lead, or are they going to have to punt it back to South Dakota Mines? Darnes lines up in a shotgun again. 2 receivers to his right. Motions over Sage to his left. Hands the ball up to Sage. Sage will get a hole and will just get about 2 yards on that play, make it 2nd and 8 for Dixie State.
That was really good blocking by the offensive line. Unfortunately, the outside linebacker on the right side was able to come in and read that, and he came across the field and was able to make that tackle.
2nd down and 8 for Dixie State. As they try to get the calls from the sideline and see what they can do. Darnes in the shotgun again. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff to Sage. He throws it downfield, and it is caught. It was caught. Xavier Smith on the reception. Lined up in the slot and caught that ball beautifully on a little fade route there. What a great reception there by Xavier Smith on the play.
Great pass by Trent Darnes, getting us past that 50-yard line into South Dakota Hard Rockers territory.
A gain of 39 on the play as Trent Darnes takes the snap and hands it off to Starks again. And Sage. And Sage will gain about 5 on that play, make it 2nd down and 5 coming up for Dixie State.
Great job by Luongo by getting that handoff, running right through that open inside gap. Great blocking by the offensive line.
Looks like Dixie State's getting something going here. Let's see if they can keep up that momentum as they've had 2 good drives in the last couple as they've had 2 good drives so far, and let's see if they can capitalize on this one. Darnes lines up in the shotgun again. Fakes a handoff, but will be sacked. No, he got out of it. Throws it downfield and is incomplete. What great athletics, what great mobility by Trent Darnes to get away from the sack. It looked like he was going to go down, and he got away from it. A little Eli Manning type action right there.
Definitely great job by Trent Darnes. You know, they did a fake run, but he was met by number 38 on the defense, but was able to shake him off, and he threw it to who he thought was open, but it was too much out of bounds.
3rd and 4 for Dixie State. A big 3rd down and 4 here as we have under a minute left to go in the 3rd quarter. Darnes motions over Xavier to his right. Takes a snap and is looking to try to get around the field and will get about close as he can to the marker, and a flag flies in late. It looked like it will be roughing the passer on Trent Darnes as he was driven into the floor late on that play.
Let's see what the ref has to say on that flag. Yep, personal foul on 15 from South Dakota Mines for driving Trent Darms into the floor. But that was a great play by the Dixie State Trailblazers. They did a quarterback draw, and Darms was able to pick up about 3 yards. But with that personal foul, I believe we get an extra 15.
And we will get an extra 15, and it'll put Dixie State within close range of the 20-yard line. Let's see what they can do with this as they'll mark the ball at 23-yard line. At the 23-yard line. So far, it looks good for Dixie State on this drive as Darns motions himself outside the pocket and gets it to CJ. And CJ Luongo gets about 6 yards on the play, make it 7, and make it second down and 3 on the next play.
Man, great job on that play. They motioned out Trent Darms, and Starks was able to get that Wildcat snap and pick up about 6 yards.
CJ is definitely a tool that everybody uses around. He's like a Swiss Army knife. You can really use him for anything, passing, throwing, running. He can probably even play quarterback if you wanted to. He's a little short for that, but I guarantee you that kid would play quarterback.
Great job by the offense in that third quarter. We're now about to get to the fourth quarter with 15 minutes left in the game. Let's see if the offense will get into the end zone and get us a Trailblazer win.
We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout here. We'll be back with more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
So, I'm a dog, and I'm kind of new to this family, but I've noticed a trend. My humans do this thing where they go around and get all my toys and hide them in this basket, but it's always the same basket. And it's always the
back
same
to
place.
the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff, St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3. A big second down and 3 for Dixie State as they try to get on the board. They're down 36-34 with 15 minutes left to go in this fourth quarter. A close game here. It looked like it was going to turn into a blowout earlier, but Mackey, this Dixie State offense and defense has been fighting back and getting closer and closer to this lead.
Definitely, they are working as hard as they can to get in the lead. With South Dakota Mines ahead of us 36-34, we're just knocking on the door of that end zone, and we are threatening them to get us that touchdown.
Dixie State will bring out their offense here again on a crucial second down and 3. Darns lines up in a shotgun. 2 receivers in the backfield with him, Lauren Starks and CJ Luago. Takes the snap and will just shuffle pass to CJ. CJ gets out to the 5, to the 2, and will be out of bounds at the 2-yard line. A great little shuttle pass right there for CJ.
Great option play on that play. Trent Darms looked like he was going to run the ball, but then you see CJ Luongo coming up a little bit in front of him, about 2 yards, and he just shovels it to him. And CJ had good blocking by his receivers and leading running back to be able to get to the 2-yard line inside South Dakota Mines territory.
First and goal for Dixie State. It will be at the 3-yard line. Lauren Starks is in the game at running back. Darns takes the snap, hands it off to Starks, and will be met at about the 1-yard line, making second and goal on the 1. Definitely Lauren Starks came in to give CJ a little breather there. CJ is really the truck for this team. He goes as this team goes.
Great job again by that offensive line by pushing the line forward and able for giving us a chance to gain 1 yard. We're 1 yard and we're knocking on that Trailblazer end zone.
Lauren Starks is still at running back as Trent Darns motions in a tight end to the line. Hands it back off to Starks, and he'll be met back at the line and actually will lose a yard. Will be back at the 3-yard line on that one. Just a really bad play there by Dixie State.
Yeah, that play again looked like it was going to be one of those option routes that worked in the last series, but Trent Darms handed it off to Starks instead of pulling it and running it on the outside. Actually, I think Starks just took it out of his hand.
Third down and goal for Dixie State here on the 3-yard line. Let's see what they call. Darns lines up in a shotgun motion. Starks over to his right. Takes a snap, throws it, and it is incomplete. No flag thrown on the play. It looked like it should be thrown. DeJuan Dancer looking for a flag and will not get it. It'll come up empty on that drive for Dixie State. We'll see if they can get a field goal out of it and get something and possibly take the lead in this game.
If we were able to have replay reviews, we would have definitely saw that Dantzler was held by his jersey by that covered corner.
KJ Jurgensen comes in for the field goal. It'll be about a 25-yard field goal. And it is blocked. And the kick was blocked. And it was recovered again by Dixie State. Yet another field goal block takes points off the board for Dixie State. And we believe there is a flag on the field. Let's see what this is all about. Offsides is being called on South Dakota Mines. Will possibly give them a first down. No, it will just be a repeat of fourth down. Let's see if KJ can redeem himself in this one and get this one through.
Yes, let's hope that if we go for the kick that we do get those 3 points to get the lead.
KJ Jurgensen lines up again for the field goal. The kick is up, and it is good. It is good this time, and it will give Dixie State the lead 37-36 late in the fourth quarter with 13:07 left to go. We're going to take a quick 60-second timeout here. We'll be back more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3 as Dixie State is lining up to kick the kickoff, as they've now taken the lead for the second time in this game after leading 7-0 early in the first quarter. KJ Jurgensen will kick it off back to South Dakota Mines, and they will receive it at about the 13-yard line, and we'll get to about the 32-yard line. A good return there at a gain about 20 yards on the play.
Right now, our defense is really going to need to step up and keep this lead from 37-36. We need to be able to, control that line of scrimmage. The defensive line needs to plug up those gaps on the runs and be able to pass rush on the passes. And we need better coverage by our secondary. Hopefully they can be able to do this inside this fourth quarter in this series.
It'll be 1st and 10 on the 31-yard line for the Hard Rockers of South Dakota Mines as they are down by 1 point, 37-36, trailing Dixie State here late in the fourth quarter. Jake Sullivan motions over Kevin Thompson. And there seems to be a flag or a false start is called on South Dakota Mines. It will back them off 5 yards. Will put them at the 26-yard line, make it 1st down and 15. Jake Sullivan lines up in a shotgun. 3 receivers to his right. Hands the ball off and will be met at about the 27-yard line. A gain of 1 yard there for Kevin Thompson on the run.
Great job by the defensive line by making their presence known and making it able for those linebackers to be able to plug those holes up to cause a no gain on the play.
2nd down and 14 for South Dakota Mines. Jake Sullivan takes a snap, is looking downfield, and it was met. No. Got out of it and escaped, and will throw it downfield, and it was caught by his tight end, number 84, Carson Hunt on the play, sophomore wide receiver. Caught it, and it will be about 3rd down and 5 for the Hard Rockers.
Great pressure by the defensive line. Unfortunately, the number 7 quarterback was able to shake that defensive lineman's tackle and was able to complete a pass to one of his wide receivers.
Player is down on the field for South Dakota Mines. Number 75, Grant Smith, the freshman O-line, down currently for South Dakota Mines. We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout and be back more here on Radio Dixie 91.3.
Okay.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Third down and 5 for the Hard Rockers. Jake Sullivan takes the snap, throws it to Connor Silveria, and he will get the first down and more to about the 40-yard line on Dixie State's territory. A gain of 22 on the play.
That was just some great blocking by South Dakota Mines. That offensive line controlled our defensive line, and we were unable to cause any kind of pressure. And then the blocking past that line of scrimmage was exceptional, letting Severio get all the way to the 40-yard line.
A little quick snap there for South Dakota Mines as Kevin Thompson will be met back at the line of scrimmage. Nothing gained on that play, make it second down and 10 for Dixie State. For South Dakota Mines.
Let's hope our defensive line's able to put more pressure on this play.
Second down and 10 for South Dakota Mines. Jake Sullivan fakes the handoff and will throw it, and it is caught by his receiver. Hands to the 10, to the 5, and we pushed out of bounds at about the 3-yard line.
That was great pressure by the defensive line. Almost had the sack, but Jake Sullivan, number 7, the quarterback, kept great composure and still saw one of his receivers open and threw a great pass, and he was able to catch it and get to about the 4-yard line.
Quick snap by South Dakota Mines here. They hand it off to Kevin Thompson. Isaiah Manley on the reception on the last play, a gain of 22 on that play. Jake Thompson takes a quick snap again, hands it off to Thompson, and will be met back at the 2-yard line. No gain on that play, make it 3rd and goal for South Dakota Mines here.
Great job by the defensive line by being able to be a big presence in that red zone, not allowing any yards on the play.
Big 3rd down and goal here for South Dakota Mines as they're trying to put points on the board and take the lead again with about 10 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the game here. Jake Sullivan gives the calls. Takes a snap, hands it off to Connor Silveria, and is up and will score the touchdown for South Dakota Mines.
That was just great blocking up front for South Dakota Mines. The offensive line pushed back that defensive line and caused that big hole for Severio to be able to dive into the touchdown.
It'll give South Dakota Mines the lead and will put them up 42-37, pending a PAT here. Possibly making it 43-37. Connor Silveria getting himself a second touchdown on the day.
Right now, let's hope that Remington or somebody on that defense is able to get... Oh, actually, no, they're going for it.
They're going for it on this 2-point conversion here. Sullivan takes a snap, is looking downfield, throws it, and it is caught. It is good for the 2-point conversion. Number 87 of South Dakota Mines, Ian Murphy, the junior wide receiver, will make it 44-37 on top of Dixie State.
This was just a great job by South Dakota Mines. They really executed that play well. They had many open receivers.
Here on Radio Dixie 91.3 as South Dakota Mines is ready to kick it off back to Dixie State. And let's see, Mackie, if Dixie State can do something on this drive, kill some time on this clock, give limited time to South Dakota Mines and possibly get a touchdown out of this drive to get on top.
Yes, definitely. We need the Trailblazer offense to really step up their game.
And the kickoff return gives it off, a little handoff to the other receiver. He gets out to the 50, yes, to the 40, to the 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Trailblazers, a kickoff return for 94 yards.
Great job by the Trailblazers. They did a little trick play on that return. One returner caught the ball, he ran it up, and then he handed it off quickly to another guy, able to run around with not many people guarding him. He was able to get that wide open run down the right and get a Trailblazer touchdown.
Number 6 of Dixie State, Isaiah Wooden on the return. 94 yards for them, and it will make it 44-43 pending PAT for Dixie State, and the PAT is up, and it is good. We have a tie ball game here again.
Great job by Dixie State again by causing that fake and getting us that Trailblazer touchdown that we definitely needed from special teams. Great job by the Trailblazers.
You look on the replay there, Mackie, just a little simple handoff by Simpson to Isaiah Wooden, and he just returned it completely all the way back to the house. A couple little jukes there. What an incredible run there to get this game tied.
That's great job. That's all I can say there. Doing an exceptional job right now. And let's hope our defense can keep this momentum going.
We'll see if they can keep this momentum going as they will kick it back to South Dakota Mines. And what a game changer right there for Dixie State to get them right back in this game, tied with South Dakota Mines after South Dakota Mines put up a great drive and went for the 2-point conversion to stay ahead of Dixie State on that one.
Yes, you are right about that, Martin.
Dixie State is getting ready to kick it off again. KJ Jurgensen lines up for the kickoff. And he's been pretty good at kicking the balls this year. He's been struggling with the PATs and field goals, but that's kind of understandable. But definitely his kickoffs, he's been able to do a good job on it.
Yes, he has. He's kicking it nice, high and deep.
KJ kicks it back off to South Dakota Mines. And they were returning it back on the 7-yard line, looking to get a possible kickoff return, a good one, and they'll get to about the 32-yard line, 31-yard line, and it will set up a 1st and 10 for the Hard Rockers.
Right now, our defense needs to really bring the boom right now. Our defensive line needs to make that presence strong. As I said over and over again, we need to control the line of scrimmage and not allow their run game or pass game to even flourish.
1st and 10 for the Hard Rockers at the 31-yard line. Let's see what Jake Sullivan can do on this drive as they are now tied up. 9:58 left to go in this 4th quarter. This great football game we have on air for you guys. It is tremendous. Sullivan takes a snap, hands it off to Salveria. Salveria is going to get about 4 yards on the play, set up a 2nd and 6 for the Hard Rockers.
Great job by the defense by plugging it in. The linebacker, 47, Malaki came up with that tackle. Let's hope that the defense can keep up the good work.
Let's see if they can keep up with that. As it'll be 2nd down and 6 for the Hard Rockers as Sullivan lines up in the shotgun again. 2 receivers in the backfield. Fakes the handoff, throws it downfield, and it is incomplete. Intended receiver on that play was number 18, Joe Lubers, who had the touchdown earlier in the game. On the coverage was number 5 of Dixie State, Alex Lillard, who came in the game late, I believe, for Shiloh Pritchard. Had a good coverage on that play.
Yes, definitely. If he wasn't covering that well, that would have probably been a whole different kind of situation.
I agree with that one. 3rd down and 6 for this Hard Rockers offense. Lines up with 3 receivers to his left. Sullivan looking around the field, trying to get his calls ready. Sullivan scrambling outside the pocket, throws it, and it is complete. It says right now as they stand, it's incomplete, and they're going to call it a catch at about the 46-yard line. I don't know how Sullivan got that ball off. He was almost about to be tackled, sacked in the backfield, and he was able to find number 13 of the Hard Rockers, Isaiah Manley, for the reception on the play. Again, South Dakota Mines is going to get with a quick huddle here and snap the ball to Silveria. He's going to get about 3 yards on the play.
Right now, their offense is going so fast. They're going faster than our camera crew. And we're getting in halfway through the play. So sorry about coming in late for you guys.
There seems to be an apparent Dixie State injury on the field. We're going to take a quick 30-second timeout here and be back with more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3 as Mike Jones is again hurt. Comes off limping off the field. Let's see if he can get back in the game, as that's going to be a big, big loss for this Dixie State defense.
Let's see if the defense can step up on this play and get us no gain of yards.
2nd down and 6 for South Dakota Mines. And it will be a good handoff to Salveria again. Thompson on the play. He'll gain about 5 yards on that play, a pending 3rd and 2 and 3rd and 1, possibly 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1 coming up here.
Great job by Remington Kelly on coming off that edge and coming from behind and stopping Severio in his tracks, only allowing him to get 1 yard on the play.
3rd down and 4, on the next play. Thompson comes out with 5 receivers out. Takes a snap, looking field, and throws it, and it is complete for the 1st down. It will be down at about the 36-yard line. Again, Isaiah Manley on the reception. What a great throw right there. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah, Sullivan is really throwing some dimes today. He just threw a bullet pass right to Manley as he was wide open, and that corner was not covering him well enough.
Again, a quick snap by South Dakota Mines here. Sullivan takes the snap quick, hands it off to Salveria, and he'll get about 5 yards on the play.
That was an okay stop by the defense. Our defensive line is really getting pushed back on every run play by the offensive line. I can't emphasize anymore, but our defensive line really needs to step up and plug those gaps to stop that run game.
Mike Jones again is back on the field, but comes off limping again. We'll see what's wrong with him as Sullivan takes the snap, hands it off again. He'll hand it off to Thompson, and he'll gain about 2 yards on the play, make it a possible 35 for the Hard Rockers.
Great job by Remington Kelly, number 92 again, by coming in and really delivering a hit on that play. And also, Dimitri, number 99, great job on coming from the back and helping out Remington Kelly on that tackle.
We have a player down on the field. You never like to see injuries, but this is getting a little ridiculous, I may say. We are trying to get a number, but we're going to take a quick 30-second timeout here. I'll be back with more on Radio Dixie 91.3.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back to Radio Dixie 91.3. As the injured player is helped off the field, it was Jack Batho the fourth as South Dakota Mines gets ready for a huge 3rd down and 5 as Sullivan is looking downfield trying to find the signals, hands it off to his running back Salveria, and will get more, and will just get tripped up. It looked like he had a touchdown there, but he got tripped up late and will be down at about the 25-yard line.
Again, the South Dakota Mines offense is really executing their plays extremely well. Their offensive line is washing up the defensive line, and we don't have any openings. We don't have anybody in the back in the secondary really stopping the plays.
Jake Sullivan again lines up in a shotgun, takes a snap, is looking downfield, throws a little quick screen pass to his tight end, and number 37 of South Dakota Mines, redshirt freshman Anthony Yerlich, a small little 5'10" wide receiver for the team.
Great job by number 5, Alex Lillard, on that play. He really came up and stopped that screen play, which that South Dakota has been really using that's been effective against us.
2nd down and 7 for Dixie State here, South Dakota Mines. Sullivan throws it to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Isaiah Manley looking for flags. He'll get none as Darren Jones was on the coverage of that play.
Great coverage again by Darren Jones. Good job on seeing that ball and not allowing that receiver to catch it. And great job by the penetration by the offensive line. Now they're causing some pressure, but Sullivan is still looking too comfortable in that pocket.
3rd down and 7, a big 3rd down and 7 for this Hard Rockers team. As they're trying to get back the lead here with 5:55 left to go in the 4th quarter. Salveria motions outside the pocket. Flags will be thrown, possible false start. No flags were thrown on the play, we assume. Let's see if they did or not. But it stands as an incomplete pass right now, and 4th and 7 for the Hard Rockers.
It definitely looked like an offsides by the defensive end, Remington Kelly. But I don't think there are any flags on the play. Nope, there are no flags on the play. There was a flag on the play. Offsides, 5-yard penalty.
Yeah, they're going to make it 3rd down and 1, a repeat of that down. Sullivan comes out with 5 wide receivers, 3 to his right. Motions over Silveria to the backfield. Hands it off to Silveria, gets out the field, and will score another touchdown for South Dakota Mines to put them up so far in this game. 5:48 left to go in the game as it stands right now. But there is a flag on the play. Let's see what it's called.
Holding
On the offensive side of the ball. It will take them back 10 yards, a repeat of down, and it'll make it 3rd down and 11. Number 74 for South Dakota Mines.
Trailblazers really getting lucky on that play. Good thing there was a hold because that was a wide open touchdown for Savario.
A definite hold on that one. He had more of that. He had more of the face mask than he did have the jersey. I would have called a hands to the face mask. Even so, it'll make it 3rd down again for this Hard Rockers offense.
Definitely close to a flagrant foul.
Let's see what Sullivan does. Throws it to the corner of the end zone, and it's picked off.
Yes.
It was picked off by the Dixie State defense. He is running it back, all the way back. Possible touchdown here. 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Touchdown, Trailblazers. We'll see if it stands. A possible flag was thrown as a possible offsides, but if it does stand, it will be a touchdown for Trevor Watson, but possibly it'll be brought back because of a false start.
Let's see what happens.
Neutral zone infraction. They're going to call it on Dixie State. A repeat of 3rd down again. This will be the 3rd repeat of 3rd down. It will make it 3rd down and 6.
I did not see an infraction on that play. If they called it, it may have been called on 99, Sebastian DiMartini. But DiMartini, he was so quick off the ball, it may have looked like he was offsides. But great job for Trayvon Watson on getting that interception anyways. That's his 2nd interception that he would have gotten for the night. I just think that was a bad call by the referees. Too bad we don't have those instant replay reviews, because that definitely would have been counted as a touchdown in my opinion.
We're going to take a quick 15-second timeout here on Radio Dixie. We'll be back with more live from the football game.
.org, brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff, St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back here on Radio Dixie 91.3 as we have a great game here on for you guys. It is all tied up 44-all, 5:32 left in the game. Both teams are trying to get to the top of the conference leaderboards as Chadron State took down Colorado Mesa earlier today, making Colorado School of Mines the lone leader in the conference so far. And if the championship game was to be today, it would be between Chadron State and Colorado School of Mines. We have 3rd down and 6 here for the Hard Rockers as Sullivan is looking to take the snaps here. Takes the snap, looking downfield, trying to find someone, throws the ball, and incomplete. It'll be an incomplete pass here. 4th down and 6 coming up for the Hard Rockers. Let's see if they'll kick the field goal or try to go for a 4th down.
Again, great job by the defense, especially Remington Kelly, on causing that pressure on Sullivan, making him throw that bad pass out of bounds.
Let's see if South Dakota Mines will go for the field goal, and they will. They will send out the kicker. Ennis Seta, who was the special teams player of the week in the RMAC. Kick is up, snap is good. It'll make it 47-44, 5:23 left to go in the game here as South Dakota Mines leads late in the 4th quarter.
Number 90 for South Dakota, Enos Sefa with that kick. He did good on that field goal. Hopefully next time that won't happen.
Hopefully we'll keep it here, right here on Radio Dixie 91.3. You go back to that big 3rd down play. Remington Kelly got into that pressure there and made sure that they did not get that 3rd down completed.
Oh, definitely. He's doing a really exceptional job this season by really containing that end and being a great edge rusher. And, and even on special teams doing well with blocking a few field goals this season.
Excuse me, I'm sorry about that. Definitely a small changer there. 5:23 left to go in the game. Dixie State's got to have a good drive on this one and try to get ahead in this game. Possibly another cool little trick play on the kickoff. Might possibly get another kickoff return. What do Dixie State got to do on this drive to not conceive, but try to guarantee a win here?
Oh, they definitely need to, play assignment football, and they need to execute their plays as well as they can, because in order to score, we got to do our plays right.
And Sefa kicks it off again back to South Dakota Mines as we have a good football game for here. Kicks it 5 yards into the end zone. Simpson just going to take a knee there, and the ball will be brought out to the 25-yard line as this Dixie State offense tries to take the lead.
Let's hope our offense really comes out. Our offensive line, again, needs to control that line of scrimmage. And if we're going to run the ball, they need to make big holes and go to the second level, block linebackers and safeties to give CJ, Luongo, and Stark some room to run.
First down and 10 for the Dixie State Trailblazers as Darnes leads this offense out again. He'll line up in the shotgun. 2 receivers in the backfield, 2 receivers to his right. Motions over CJ Luongo to the right. Takes a snap, looking for a little screen pass, and will throw it, and it'll just be incomplete as they did not get those screen passes lined up right.
Looked like they tried to do a double screen play, but Darnes was only looking at Luongo that play when Starks was wide open on his right.
Darnes had nowhere to go with that football and just threw it back down into the ground. 2nd and 10, 5:18 left on the clock. Let's see if Darnes can lead a miracle drive here. Takes a snap, throws a little quick pass, and it is incomplete again. It'll bring up 3rd down and 10 with 5:10 left to go on the clock.
Right now, it really looks like Darnes is throwing his passes really short. He threw it at the feet of both his running backs in these past 2 plays, and not really giving them a chance to make a play after the catch.
Let's see what happens on this 3rd down and 10. A huge 3rd down and 10 for this Dixie State offense to try to get back into the lead of this football game. Darnes looks toward the sideline for the signal calls. Motions over a receiver to the line. Takes a snap, is looking downfield. Throws it, and incomplete. Well, will there be a flag? Yes, there will be a flag for pass interference on number 7 of Dixie State, Dewan Dantzler. Dewan Dantzler, and it'll be 1st down and 10 for Dixie State.
Great job by Dewan Dantzler on running that great route. He caused that corner, he shook that corner, and that corner only had the opportunity to put his hand on his shoulder and get that pass interference call.
1st down and 10 at the 38-yard line for Dixie State. Dewan Dancer doing a little acting there, I would say, on that play as well. CJ gets the ball, and it will run for about 10 yards on the play, possibly 1st down for Dixie State as he tries to get to about the middle of the field.
Great blocking up front. One thing the offensive line does well on the runs is really open up those gaps well. One thing that they need to work on now is getting out of the way of CJ Luongo so he's able to get even more yards.
Let's see if CJ can pull out a miracle out of his hat as Trent Darnes leads this offense again. 1st down and 10 for the team. Takes a snap, hands it off to CJ. No, he fakes the handoff and will take the ball, runs, and will get about 3 yards on the play as he tried to pull a QB sneak and try to get some yards on the outside of the field.
Again, Trent Darnes did another read option where he kept the ball. This time he was only able to get 3 yards, but we just need better blocking by those when they do those plays by those receivers and tight ends.
Let's see what happens on the 2nd down and 7 for Dixie State. Darnes looks towards the sideline for his signal calls. Takes a snap, hands it off, and a flag before the play starts. A possible false start on Dixie State.
Great composure by the offensive line, doing well. Oh, actually, offsides on, yes.
False start on number 71 of Dixie State. Tavea Tulula. It'll make it a 2nd down and 12. Dixie State trying to find a way to bail out of another long series here. Can they get the touchdown? Stark's going to try to get the hole, and will get about 4 yards on the play. And there's a flag thrown late. It'll be probably unsportsmanlike conduct late on South Dakota Mines as the play was over and there was a little roughhousing towards the end.
Yeah, back to the play, though. That's a really bad read. They tried to do another play option with 2 running backs with them, but Trent Darms was unable to read it well, and he threw it to a running back who was not open.
Personal foul will be called on South Dakota Mines. It will give Dixie State a new, fresh set of downs, 1st and 10.
The Trailblazers will take whatever they can get, and these penalties luckily are working well for us.
Let's see if we can see a replay. We can, and it was a good call right there at the end of the play. A little shoving and pushing around, but South Dakota Mines got called on it. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line with 3:28 left on the clock here in the 4th quarter. 1st down and 10. Trent Darns motions over receiver to his left. Almost botched the snap, hands it off to CJ. CJ gets off the field to the 20, to about the 15-yard line.
Woo! Great job again by CJ Luongo. By really reading those holes, he gained about 15 yards on the play.
1st down and 10 for this Dixie State offense. Will be at the 17-yard line. Another great run by CJ Luongo, who is just hammering this team to a victory as much as he can.
Man, I really like his vision on the field. Wherever he sees a hole, he takes it.
Again, they'll hand it off to CJ. CJ will get outside the numbers. Actually, it was Starks, and Starks will get to about the 7-yard line. 2:43 left to go on the clock. Let's see if Dixie State will just try to run some time off and possibly get a touchdown here.
Luongo and Starks really stepping up right now in the red zone. They're doing really well. Starks was hit in the backfield, but was able to shake off that defender and pick up about 8 more yards for our offense.
There is a player down on the field for South Dakota Mines here. Again, you keep talking about Lawrence Starks and CJ Luongo. They keep trucking this team as much as they can. This team is really built on the run, having a passing complemented, and it is trying to get them a win tonight.
Yeah, you're definitely right about that. Our offense is definitely a run team. Our power is up front, and our running backs, they deserve a chance to just control the game. They are really well at running the ball. They execute their plays well. They have great vision, and I'm pretty sure we're leading in rushing yards right now.
2nd down and 2 for the Trailblazers here as they're trying to knock on the door in the end zone. 2:35 left to go in the game here. We will see what Dixie State does on this drive as they are knocking on the door, and they are knocking on the door loud.
I say just run it up the middle.
I agree with you on that one. Darns lines up in the shotgun, 2 to his right. Takes the hands it off to CJ. CJ will get the 1st down. It looks like he got the 1st down on that play, and possibly his 3rd and inches, but definitely got a good chunk on that play.
Definitely a great run. I'm not sure where the ball is marked at, but they did run down the middle. Unfortunately, the offensive line did not block the way they should have, and they left about 2 men uncovered.
3rd down and 1. They're going to mark it. I thought he got the 1st down on that play. Huge 3rd down and 1. There's 1:50 left to go in the game. This could make it or break it. CJ will get the 1st down and more. He'll get to the 5-yard line and will keep on trucking as South Dakota Mines will possibly be taking a timeout here.
Great job by CJ Luongo, lined up at quarterback actually on that play. Got the ball snapped to him, and he was able to run and pick up about 7 yards, get the 1st down, and now we're about 5 yards away.
5 yards away from a touchdown and possibly taking the lead in this game. But nothing is guaranteed in this game. You know that as well as I do, McKinney.
Oh, of course. Right now we need to really execute this run game. Keep pounding it down their throats. If they can't stop it, then we should keep doing it.
1:43 left in the game. South Dakota Mines takes a quick timeout here. We're going to keep it here right now. I mean, this is coming down to the wire here, McKinney. This is going to be a good ending.
Yeah, right now, 47-44. We have a minute and 43 left in the game, and we are down by 3. We really just need to keep pounding the ball, get those, shave off the time, and score a touchdown. We score a touchdown, we win the game.
But how do you know if we get this touchdown? This defense has got to know that we're going to try to run the ball right up the middle. If CJ can get it, CJ can get it. But I would look for a little play action, probably get Darnes outside the pocket and try to throw the ball.
That does sound like a good idea. But if you run the ball, you have less chances of any kinds of turnovers as opposed to passing. And our passing game's not really doing too well today.
Let's see what they do. They line up in a shotgun. 3 to his left. Darnes is going to take the snap. Motions over receiver. Hands the ball to CJ. CJ's got a hole. He's going towards the end zone. Touchdown, Trailblazers.
Great job again. We did a little read option. We had a receiver come over from the left side, faked the handoff to the receiver, then handed it off to CJ Luongo to be able to run off that edge again and score another Trailblazer touchdown.
That is his 3rd touchdown of the game. Definitely CJ Luongo is up for being player of the game yet again. He was player of the game last week and possibly the player of the game before that. This kid just keeps on trucking and puts the team on his back and wants to win games as the PAT is pending right now. The kick is up and it is good. It will make it Dixie State 51, South Dakota Mines 47, 1:39 left to go in this game.
Great job by CJ Luongo by being able to be a force to be reckoned with today. He's been running so hard. People may underestimate him just by looking at his size. CJ Luongo is 5'7", only 170 pounds, but he runs like he's 6'2", 240 pounds, and is not afraid to hit at all.
We're going to take a quick 60-second timeout here. We'll be back with the awesome ending in this one here on Radio Dixie 91.3.
Local food bank.
It's back to the action for DSU Athletics, brought to you by Ken Garff, St. George Ford Lincoln. We now return you to Dixie State Athletics.
Welcome back as Dixie State kicks it off back to South Dakota Mines as they will have a minute and 39 seconds to go the length of the field. 85 yards is what's going to be needed, to win this football game between South Dakota Mines and Dixie State. Dixie State leads it right now 51-47 in a great game here, I would say. McKinney, what would you say about it?
Oh, I definitely agree with you. Right now, the crowd is very hyped up. We have the sidelines. They're really doing well by cheering on their team and giving them that excitement and momentum to do a great job this series. We really want to look for the defense to do a good job and stop them right now so that they don't score and catch up.
Jake Sullivan brings his team out to the field. Let's see what happens here as he tries to lead a comeback. Takes a snap, looking downfield, throws it, and it is caught by receiver. But he went backwards and will lose 2 yards on the play.
Again, Anthony Yarborough, this guy, man, he's just so fast. He's so long, and he caught 13 Manly right behind the line of scrimmage, not allowing anything to happen.
Not allowing anything at all. It was double screen passes right there. Anthony Yarborough just chasing him down backfield, making it 2nd and 12. Sullivan takes a snap, looking downfield, throws it, and it is caught, and it will step out of bounds quickly. Number 37 of South Dakota Mines, Anthony Urich, the redshirt freshman, as they line up quick. 1:29 left to go on the clock. 1st and 10 for South Dakota Mines.
Man, they're doing the quick no huddle, and I'm not sure what's happening right now.
No, we are not. 1st down and 10, throws it, and it is caught by South Dakota Mines, and it will be into Dixie State territory at the 43-yard line.
Right now, the defensive line is not giving the pressure that the Trailblazers need to make Sullivan not feel good in that pocket. The offensive line for South Dakota is giving him a lot of time to make those passes.
Though South Dakota Mines needs a touchdown, is either a touchdown or bust on this drive as he's scrambled outside the pocket, and it is caught again. Isaiah Manley at the 26-yard line, 1:05 left to go in this game.
You can definitely tell that Manley is the go-to receiver for South Dakota Mines. He's looking kind of tired after that last play. He did catch a crazy pass. And right now, Sullivan and the chemistry between Sullivan and Manley is just really good.
First down and 10. Sullivan will take the snap himself and will run out of bounds at about the 18-yard line.
Sullivan executed that play option play that we've been doing well tonight, and he got that ball. He was able to go and get that first down, picked up about 12 yards on that play.
This is starting to become crazy, and a good one at the end as South Dakota Mines looks to try to get back on top. Again, touchdown or bust for this team. Second down and 1. Hand the ball off to Connor Silveria, and they say first down, and there's still a little skirmish towards the end. He possibly got the first down on the play.
Ooh,
Late flag on the play. We'll see who it is on.
I was really bad on the defense this play. We didn't get much push up front, and the offensive line was able to make a little gap for Severio to possibly get a first down.
Possible personal foul coming up. Was it on South Dakota Mines or Dixie State? We are about to find out here. This could mean a lot in this game. Unsportsmanlike is being called on South Dakota Mines, and it will back them up 15 yards.
Great penalty for the Trailblazers. They took them back 15 yards. Right now, we got to see if they can step up their game and be able to stop them and only hold them to kick a potential field goal. We don't want a touchdown because we won't have much time to score.
First down and 10, 40 seconds left to go. Clock is running for South Dakota Mines. Throws it, and it is incomplete. Almost intercepted there on that play.
Great job by number 23 for Dixie State. Elijah Isaiah. We've heard his name a lot tonight. He did really well on that coverage, batted down the ball. That receiver looked wide open, but he came out of nowhere and
he almost had that one on that play. 35 seconds left to go in the game. Second and 10. Dixie State leads 51-47. Sullivan looking downfield, trying to throw. It will be sacked back at the line of scrimmage.
Yes.
Number 99 for Dixie State.
Good job by Sebastian DiMartini with that sack. He came in. He did not let that offensive line push him. He went in and sacked the quarterback.
30 seconds left on the clock here for Dixie State. Came out of nowhere, beat the tackle, and just came in and soaked up that play right there.
And that is exactly what we needed. Great job by DiMartini with the sack.
South Dakota Mines takes a quick timeout here. We're going to stick here with you right here on Radio Dixie 91.3. What a crazy events. We have 30 seconds left to go. 3rd and 14. McKinney, what are you doing as a defense?
Right now, we got to put as much pressure as possible on that quarterback so that he doesn't have that time to throw those passes. They know their run game is not as effective as their pass. So right now, all they're trying to do is get those passes to get into that end zone and to run up as much time as possible so that Dixie State won't have a chance to return and score another touchdown.
30 seconds left to go. 3rd and 14 for this Hard Rockers offense. We will see what happens on this play. This play could possibly end the game or not.
The defense really excited on this play.
Sullivan looks towards the sideline to get the signal calls. Looking downfield. Looking, throws the football, and it is intercepted.
Woo!
It was intercepted late in the game. Dixie State is going to walk away with this win. They're going to go 3-1 on the year. What an incredible play there late by Abraham Reinhardt.
Great job by Abraham Reinhardt by getting that interception. The ball was thrown straight to a wide open receiver. The wide receiver couldn't catch the ball. Abraham came up and got the interception to seal the victory for the Dixie State Trailblazers.
This is incredible. 3 straight wins after this. It is incredible. We're going to be the parties tonight are going to be awesome. I can tell you that right now. But this is a huge, huge play.
Oh, no.
There is a penalty, but it's on South Dakota Mines. A unsportsmanlike conduct will push Dixie State into South Dakota Mines territory and will almost definitely lock up this win with only 23 seconds left to go on the clock.
Great job by Dixie State by this nail-biting victory, 51-47. Definitely not what you're expecting. Abraham Ryan are having a rough season this year. He had 2 ejections and now got to come up with the game-winning interception. That must feel really great after a terrible past 2 weeks.
As Dixie State just takes a kneel, but they are going to flag them for a possible false start on a play where they were just kneeling. I don't understand that, but okay. But this definitely wraps up this win. McKinney, a great, hard-fought win. Dixie State was down in this game 13, and they came back to win this game late. This is got to be the best game so far of the season.
Oh, definitely the best game. A lot of people underestimating South Dakota Mines. We got to give South Dakota Mines a whole lot of credit. Nobody thought they were going to come in and give Dixie State a run for their money, but they definitely came in and let their presence be known by letting us know that Dixie State can step up on a lot of other ends of the game.
Dixie State is going to walk away with this one. It is going to take them to 3-1 on the year. We'll drop South Dakota Mines to 2-2. This will definitely move up Dixie State in the conference rankings. This is moving them to 3-1 on the year. Again, 3-1 in RMAC play. A possibly second-way tie for second in the conference as Colorado School of Mines sits on top 4-0 in the year, but Chadron State is sitting at 3-1. Also, Colorado School of Mesa is at 3-1. This almost makes a tie for that second position, huh, McKinney?
Oh, definitely. We will take a win when we can get a win. We really wanted this to be a blowout game, and really the only reason why it was close was because we made a lot of mistakes in this game.
Let's get right to the post-game halftime. Let's get right to the post-game show here. McKinney, man, welcome you. Let's get right to the post-game show here. McKinney, a great game here for the Dixie State fans. Obviously, they were down 13 late in the second half. They came back to win this game by 4 to go 3-1 on the year. Who are you choosing to be the player of the game? And be smart with this one.
Hey, I'm going to tell you one person that we've been saying his name all night, CJ Luongo. That young man has been running up and down the field, scoring touchdowns left and right, and not allowing him to, he never let go of the gas.
I cannot agree with you anymore. As I was about to say disagree. Why am I going to disagree with that one?
I don't know.
Definitely CJ Luongo had 21 attempts, 150 yards, 3 touchdowns on today's game. This was a crazy wild one at the end. Again, Abraham Reinhardt seals the win with a late interception in this game. McKinney, your final thoughts on this game, man?
It was a rough game. It wasn't really played as well as they could. I talked to Coach Willie Matt Garza to see what he thought about what he needed to happen in this game. He said that his defense really needs to step up front. They're always struggling with the defensive line. And, he also said that he wished I was out there, just throwing that out there, but, it is what it is. But I know that one thing that they can do to be better next week is work on controlling the line of scrimmage. I can't emphasize on that any more than I do every single week. Control the line of scrimmage, control the game.
Definitely. I agree with you that, again, this will move Dixie State to a possible 3-way tie for second in the conference behind Colorado School of Mines, who are at 4-0 on top of the conference. And next week, Dixie State will be on the road. We'll be having back-to-back road games, but their first road game will be at Black Hills State. McKinney, your quick thoughts on that game, possibly that game coming up next week?
I know that if we do mistake-free and assignment-playing football, we're not going to have any worries going along the season. We just need to execute. All we're doing, we're not losing to teams that are better than us. We're just losing to teams because we are making the mistakes.
That is going to wrap up this wild, crazy game here for us. This was an incredible win here. Dixie State goes 3-1 on the year after winning 50 51-47 over South Dakota School of Mines, taking them to 2-2 on the year. They have Colorado State Pueblo coming up on their schedule. We got Black Hill State at Black Hill State. We're going to have that game live on Radio Dixie 91.3 next week for you guys, so stay tuned for that one. For my man, McKinney Manu, and me, Martin Kelly, we bid you a good night.
Good night.